worked out that way.
I've been playing Lilia in the jungle for today because I got tired of playing mid. So I started playing Master Q a little bit.
Yeah, I played Lilia for the first time last night.
How do you like her?
Like her quite a bit. Different.
She's one of my favorites for jungling. Let's see, I'm going up against Irelia, an Ari, a Nocturne, a Twitch, and a Nautilus. I think I'm going to go Duskblade instead of...
I have a Duskblade. Could you say Aurelia?
Irelia, Nocturne, Ari, Twitch, and Nautilus. I think I'm just going to go Duskblade, to be honest, because we are folding them hard.
I usually never recommend going Duskblade anymore with you. If they don't have a heavy tank team like that situation, or
If they had like a set or something, then I'd probably go Kraken.
well, I do Kraken if they have tank. If they don't have tank, I go Immortal Shield them. That way I can out sustain them.
You have enough sustain with your W.
Well, I never put a point W. I don't use W until it requires me to put a point in it. Even at that, I don't use my W. I just run lifesteal. That way I can just max my Q and E first. I know it's only like 1 point, but still, I just max those from the rip. We're gonna be a while. We're gonna get ice cream. Not be a while, but it'll be a few minutes. Ice cream.
Jesus Christ. Come on. What are y'all doing?
Played some games with that Fiddle mentality, the Saint Soul Reaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last time we played, he was drunk by the end of it. That was a disaster.
Nice.
He was playing brand support and he forgot where he was. So like he was walking in the bush, some bot saying, "I gotta go mid. I gotta go mid." I'm like, "You're support." He goes, "I am." I'm like, "Yeah." And he goes, "How did I get here?" I'm like, "You took support." Yeah, it was horrible. Have you seen him?
Not drunk. Nor do I want to see him drunk.
Well, I meant like actually his face. Like, has he ever turned his webcam for
No.
you? He's a funny looking fella. He turned his webcam on. He's good when he's not drunk,
Word.
but he can't play drinking. Because him and I were doing some rank together. Nope.
Alright, I need to go Bork myself and then the collector. I think I'm gonna do the collector first. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Too late. I always
Why are
do
you
this so I can
giggling?
move faster.
Why are you giggling and teeing here?
What's your thoughts on letting someone pick my champion for me so they can hide their picks?
Oh, that's fine. As long as you don't forget the trade. So your goal of the game is to not be hard stuck gold.
Pretty much.
Diamond or plat or like what's the big goal?
Diamond.
So what do you think your biggest problems are right now?
Before my biggest problem was too many champions. What I'm dealing with by just playing my graves. And then after that is if I don't get a lead, I end up running it down.
Okay.
Come on, where is my backup? Like, I'm inside of all of them. Why are you going in?
To do if my lanes are losing. So hopefully all my lanes lose.
Yeah. So you get an accurate rep. I have my friend staying at the house. Hey, listen, you listen to me. Listen. You,
Thank you,
can
Fiora.
swim in this continent
Thank you for
without
being
getting a
useful.
jump award. Somewhere, and then press B.
Yeah.
You can just, yeah, I was gonna say, you don't have to go all crazy, you can just drop it.
Yeah, I normally, on blue side here, I normally cheese to try and get into this back bush here and steal his red and raptors. And then I ward by the raptor bush there to see if they respond to it. If they go to my red or not. If they end up going to my red, I go to their columns. So what I'm thinking right now is probably early ganks on top, try and get him a lead, and then flip my rotation so I can gank bottom.
This is gonna be a good leash. Are you gonna skip
it's amazing,
golems?
Sarah. Yeah, I'm skipping the golems.
Yeah, that's fine. 5 camp is pretty stock standard here.
Yeah, ranked
You
is
need to
level
check. You need to
3
check
is really
mid
good.
as you do this. Okay, nothing. But I just want you. I want you aware. Graves requires a lot of awareness.
Oh my god.
Skirmish often and do goofy shit often. Be clear.
Ranked is pushing in.
Why are you fighting without me and Echo? Why are you fighting without me and Echo? Why are you fighting without me and Echo?
Come on.
That's pretty annoying when it doesn't work.
Gonna have to smite now.
Just refill.
There we go.
There's no gank up there.
Oh, counter. Ping on the way, ping on the way.
Yeah.
Wait, he just...
Oh, I fucked that up.
Oh my god, you're getting away with the goofiest shit.
Yeah, I fucked
So
that up.
you made about 5 mistakes in the span of... Okay, so yeah. Grab your boots and let's go to the bot side.
Yeah, that was really
you
bad.
made so
I
many
agree.
mistakes in one fight, and we're gonna try to get you more confident. Yeah, I honestly, this is just mechanical misstep after misstep.
Yeah.
So you come in, this is all fine. You're doing your thing. So here, I would have just flashed into the bush for the kill. Flash into the bush, make
And
it
that gives
easy
me the
on
movement
yourself.
speed.
Make
Yeah.
it easy on yourself, and then play the E. Instead, what you did it the other way. And then here, your kiting was just flopping.
I've got the
Play
collector.
a big wave here. Take your time. Okay. So you're gonna path right through mid after chickens. So Q and smite chickens. You're going right through mid, right past Zed. Trust me.
Right to his chickens.
Through mid, like through mid, and harass him and keep moving.
And then we'll go for Bork now.
To the chickens. To the
Mid, though.
chickens.
Okay.
Got it.
Sweep. Clear. You should have cleared that. Walk right through mid. Yeah, fuck with him a bit. Yep. Cool. Use your refills. Go walk towards the wall, like walk away from chickens. There you go. Now go to chickens. Now kite them back. You have a volley bear with no flash. You need to put a ward of pink in this brush. You can't just stand here like this with no vision. There you go. And just kite away. Now I know you know how to clear, so I've seen you do it. So use the wall. Now go up to golems. Why are we going away from golems? Use your refill. You have that pink there. You're always gonna know if he's coming. Because I'm not gonna just let him do what he wants. Kite to your left. We're leaving to the left. We're not leaving to the right. Don't reset him. Now flank the Zed.
Zed?
Or the Shen, I mean, sorry, misspoke.
Okay.
Yeah, misspoke.
Yeah.
Hang on the way. He's gonna taunt you, so just, you know. Okay, leave. It's too strong. Just leave. Leave. Fine. No, don't go. You're dead for that.
Nah, I'm good.
Go to Gromp. Holy shit.
Yeah. I feel like I died if I ran down river though. But then again, I'm
No,
using the reverse movement speed.
You have all, no, but you have all the vision. You know that they don't see you. You can check Scuttle after this, just to see if it's up. I just hit the plant towards it and see. It's all good. Check mid as you do this. Now go to your wolves. It's gonna give you level 6.
He's taking my red.
Oh, we'll take wolves and we can block him maybe. I didn't bring it. Let's just bring it. You think that's the case? There you go. Put it on Zyra's head. She's probably AFK. Or not AFK, downstream.
Okay, they're moving.
Yeah, cue it. If you think that's what's happening, you need to ping it.
Yeah, 100%
I don't know if it's happening.
He pathed into my jungle. Yeah,
Okay, then he's right
gone.
there. Hey, he's right there. It's easy. He has no flash. He's dead. There you go. Just Shenol. You're okay. No, just leave. Just leave. You got the red, you got the Shenol. Why stay? Just leave. Now hop the wall, go to golems. Finish them off. Zed's coming. Yep. Kite them down towards your tower. Shen ulted. This is good. Just survive here and we're happy, okay? There's nothing wrong with that trade. That's a really good exchange. Volibear was forced Shen to waste ult. And now Shen's stuck down here while Renex is getting shit done. So this is good. Now path up to chickens. Yep. I want you to reset after chicken, so I think we're overdoing it if we don't soon.
Yeah, I have a shit ton of gold. And my blue side should be spawning soon.
Yep.
Damn it. Failing these chickens right now.
Just use your W, like, get it done quick. It doesn't matter. It's extra damage. Alright, press B. No point of holding it if you're just backing anyways.
Oh, Shane, that's coming there, and that's there. Shen has 3 kills, holy shit.
Yeah, he's Expetsu, so we gotta watch out.
Might be
You see
able
how
to do a cheeky
you
keg
see
top
how
with
you
red
see
at 2.
how pinging actually changed the game just now
Yeah, they actually fucking moved.
because you pinged it.
Yeah. So I might be able to get a gank on here. Do you think that's would work while I have the red buff?
No, I would rather you take blue first. Take blue to get 7.
Okay.
Do it fast, like you like really do it fast because you want to go right up there, right? Get 7 so your gank has a higher success rate. That's how I
Oh boy.
play.
Sounds good.
Yeah, bye,
Use
bye,
that
bye.
plant. Like everything's a race.
Yep.
Ping on the way. Let him know.
I mean,
Yep. Let's fight. He's gonna ult. Now you walk in. You
I don't
res
know
red,
if they
taunt
FF
red.
here.
There you go. He's gonna taunt away.
Once we get this dragon, no.
What the fuck was he doing? Why did he
Nice
just?
flush.
Yeah, for real though. I mean, at this point, take a plate.
And then
Fully
into his
bear shows-
golems.
I mean, going into Golem seems a little sus. Mid's missing. I would rather just go back down and start up Rift or something. Oh, hello. Yeah, fight this guy.
Oh my god, Trundle.
He's gonna die. You can combo. Yep. Okay. Zed's
I just
okay.
need to
He's gonna
farm.
Zed. There
When
you
I
go.
get
You can fight him.
Bork,
You can
I'll be
fight him.
pretty
Fight,
beefy.
use everything. Use
Then I'm
everything.
gonna get
Just fucking
Sterix.
coming.
I'm
Just
gonna be
wiggle
even more
around.
beefy.
Don't melee it. Yeah, just wiggle around.
Which one's Bork? I don't remember that by name.
I would just reset. Press B. We're ready
What?
to spawn.
Which one is Bork? I don't remember that
Blade
one
of
by
the
name.
Ruined King.
Oh, that's what you
Whoa,
call
aren't
it.
we just
Gotcha.
rushing a shield bow here? I'm confused. Whoa.
Oh, sorry. Too late. I always
Why
go
are you
Yomu so I
giggling?
can move faster.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird abbreviations for items
Whoa,
that
aren't we just
I
rushing a
never
shield bow
really
here? I'm
got.
confused. Whoa.
Bork was actually, I just
Oh,
picked up on
sorry.
Bork.
Too late. I always
Why
go
are you
Yomu so I
giggling?
can move
I usually just
faster.
call it
Why are
Blade.
you giggling and teeing here instead of buying a
I
shield
mean,
bow?
I'll understand what you're saying the same
I always go
way.
And
Yomu
then
first
when I
pretty much
prefer
every
Dust
game.
Blade, I call it
I'm not really
Dust
scared of
Blade.
getting one shot. Move the moon
So I think
speed,
people are
so
probably
I
thinking
move
something about
around
Dust Blade.
fast. This allows me to
No,
impact the
just
map.
Blade
Are
or
we
okay.
fighting? Are we fighting?
Sounds like some nonsense to me.
You might find my
Maybe it's my
the build I
standard-
was
maybe
using to
it's
get
my
master level
standard
7
Please,
interesting.
please, for the love of God, just fight with me. We literally beat them in a 5v5. You're being so stupid.
Okay. I'm not gonna argue with people
shield bow
playing.
nerf.
Yeah.
They're being such pansies, dude. Just fight them.
Just
They're not gonna win the 5v5. We have a fed Fiora. She has 19 and 4.
Everybody's playing it right now this way. I'm not gonna.
Not enough.
I don't know enough to argue it.
She's
So
too weak.
I'm just gonna.
Stupid teammates.
We'll just focus on other things. It feels janky to me, but
Oh my god, look at that. We win the engage. Who knew?
Shield bow before, and then I
GG.
you need kite to the right though. You need kite to the right. What are we doing? We have nothing else to our left.
Christ almighty. It's not hard. Just follow me. I don't even need you to peel for me. I literally have Q.
Now walk straight in.
Just
hard.
fight.
Now
Jesus
know the,
Christ.
yeah. W
So
first.
annoying.
Kill brand. Oh, nice try. Good idea. Oh. Hey, fucking synergy, my man. So you take Scuttle here?
Yeah. You should try the build that I was using to get like some master level 7.
There you go. Just want to make sure that
A little different than normal.
I don't know why I held smite that long.
I'd reset. You have your item. Put a pink in this brush at least. There you go. There you go.
Ooh,
Thanks for your elo.
attack speed. Yeah, and then this is usually when I start going off. I'm gonna go downwards. Actually, no, spawning top side.
Alright, we're pathing away from red, which is okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
I mean, he might die, so. Alright, we're gonna walk up, ping on the way, they see us. Walk down and then turn.
Okay, you want Dust Blade Collector and you were starting to build Blade. Okay.
I'm about to rank up.
I don't think I got all my placement matches done yet. It's projecting me at Iron 2 at the moment.
Orange. I placed Iron 1 though. And I'm about to be in Bronze 3 now.
So you're progressing up.
Actually, one more game and I'm gonna be in Bronze 3.
Let's see, what role are you playing?
I can do support or mid late jungle. It doesn't matter. Whatever you want to do.
Well, if you're gonna do support, not put my primary in spot then.
Oh, I mean, I'll support if you ADC. That's it. But like, if you don't want to ADC and you want to do something else, then I don't mind jungling or going mid.
No, I
Because
can
I know.
ADC. I'm cool with that.
All right, let's do it. Just go
Nice.
Callista so we can get free games.
Yeah, that's what I tried doing with crap, Soul Reaper.
Didn't work out.
Nope.
Yeah, just go Callista. You want Thresh or something else?
We were doing
can
Thresh before. Thresh was really good.
I can do Thresh. I can do Set. I can do.
I don't feel like Set would be good. I don't know why.
Oh, Set is so much fun, dude. I pissed a lot of people off today actually with
Well,
Set support.
I know he's fun. I don't know why. I don't feel like he would be well with Callista specifically.
He's really good with Kaisa.
That I can see, yeah. Nah, Callista, I don't have excellent engage.
I got Mastery level 7 on Senna too. Vex is almost Mastery level 7. Karthus is almost Mastery level 7. Morgana and Kaisa are Mastery level 5. Let's see. Zoe's almost Mastery level 5. Yon is almost Mastery level 5.
I forget to play you.
To a degree. He's a once in a blue moon type champ for me, and whenever I play him in that once in a blue moon, I absolutely slap with him.
Oh yeah, he's an overly broken champ.
Dude, you could literally slam your forehead on the keyboard over and over again, and you'll drop a pentakill. It's not hard.
I had a dude last night I played my Lilia game. He said that Pantheon is broken, and I'm like, no.
To a degree. If you run Duskblade Sterix Gauge on him, it's very hard to kill him. Because he also has an ability that makes him unkillable. Alright, I'm just gonna go Thresh.
Yeah, I
prefer
Thresh.
Not a problem.
Timo.
Okay, what runes do I need to... Who the hell is the ADC? Okay, whatever.
I'm actually gonna say it's Cassiopeia because she banned Jinx, and all of those. She's the only one I can see doing ADC.
I'm gonna do magical footwear. Okay, alright, I got Marines.
It's gotta be a Moo.
A Mumu Leona? That's cringe. We should
no,
be
no,
able
no,
to.
no, Mumu jungle. Yeah, Leona Cassiopeia. Yeah, that's what I figured. Kali Med Tom Cop. Yep.
Okay, well, we're gonna slap on him. By the way, I went up against like this OTB Callista, and it was a slap fest, bro. Because I chose Vex support, and every time she does her auto dash thing, my passive proc. So I just kept chunking her health every time she did it. She autoed basically. It was great.
Well, yeah, if you take that away from her, you shut everything down. That's all she is.
Yeah. Oh, we're squishy. I'm the only they are tanky. You need to go Kraken Slayer.
Yeah, for this game, looks like I will. Normally you don't, but I'll put on Kraken and like Blade or something to get back that lifesteal that I'm missing.
Just do Bloodthirster.
I could build around a
Dude,
crit.
how'd you
Build.
get at level 163? Holy shit, you've been playing.
Yeah, I've been playing every single night. What was that last time we last played?
I've been playing for the last couple days, but I've been playing Siege a lot with Ben.
There's still
Because the
people
new
in that
season.
game?
A couple million.
Really?
There's a lot of people that play the game. It's just, I stopped playing Siege right now because high elo is basically nothing but cheaters.
High elo?
Yeah.
You think it'd be the other way around? Low elo would be full of them?
It's mainly high elo.
Oh, it's because they cheated to get the high elo.
Yeah.
Ah, that makes sense. Oh shit, I gave it the vein.
Oh.
I clicked on you. I swear I clicked on you. You know what? I'm not too worried. Because I honestly, how many times would you use that game like once a game? So.
That's still funny though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Ward.
Alright. I also did change my name if you didn't notice that too.
Oh, we can do a bush cheese. Come here.
Wait, I'm sure they're leashing.
Cassiopeia is very, very weak. Level 1 and level 2.
I do want to play her eventually though. I know she can be good.
Okay, that's fine. She flashed.
Was it cast a flash? I didn't even pay attention. I saw a flash. I didn't see who it was. It was her. I figured it was. She went back quickly. Oh, your ignite finished her off. That's fine. It's the only thing I like about Callista, her early game. It's hard to gauge her autos and attack speed and stuff. And her E.
True. I can get cannon.
Yeah. Yeah, we get the melee. I can get her.
I'm gonna use my potions here.
You're good.
We're pushed up a good bit. We need to back off.
Mm-hmm.
After I get this soul. Nom 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 nom.
Yeah, only get my W. Oh shit, why did I get my W? I forgot I got my old sword, so it doesn't matter. At least not right now. Oh well. So it gives me vision, I guess. Fucking idiot, look at it. It literally turned around. It did it again. Like it's right in front of her.
Sakali's on next game mode. Maybe try and place it down in the middle of a fight.
I mean, yeah, but that kind of, it's not the purpose of it. It's supposed to roam around the map and find you people.
I know, it's still funny.
So, and also, like, that's the last thing I'll be thinking about while I'm in the middle of a fight. Popping my W. And it just died. Okay, whatever.
I'm gonna go War Dragon.
Yeah. I think Leon was looking to do an engage there for a second.
I can get cannon.
Yeah, there's her engage. Oh, she did a lot of damage fast. Damn.
What the fuck?
Yeah, Cass.
What are y'all doing? Fight them.
Wasn't the fight here and he was like just right there?
Yeah.
He wasn't that far away. Yeah, he wasn't that far away. Oh, now I got some attack speed. I'm gonna boost first.
Amumu is on the scuttle.
Alright.
I can get cannon.
Who's in our layer? Oh, him.
An ally has
Hunter
been slain.
the chat.
An enemy has been slain.
I can really hear him.
Oh, it's Hunter.
Yo, what's up, Carter? I didn't unfriend you.
We are set in motion.
I can barely hear you, Hunter.
Yeah.
I can barely. You might need to
Oh.
volume up on Discord.
I can in a second. Right now I'm about to hook this Cassiopeia. God damn it.
Nope. Oh, she's going for an all-in. Yep.
Hold on, let me check my Discord settings. I'm not doing my webcam.
Nope. I can't know a Cass here.
I'm on my
She's like
regular shit.
stupid strong. Nah, I can't do much to help you.
Auto attack, that's really it.
Oh, I couldn't even do that.
They were focused on me. They were both focused on me.
Watch this. Hold up.
It's whatever. We're not gonna win this game anyways. Mumu is up on Nocturne for some fucking reason. This Cass is 3-1. Akali's beating Echo, and since Akali has 2 kills, the game's already over in itself because it's Akali. This is just GG. Free LP for them. Let's go.
I don't know why Caspi is so strong.
We didn't punish her level 1, but one time when she flashed, and then that's it.
also had that bad exchange with Echo and Nocturne.
I don't know what Echo was doing, bro. He literally walks down, then walks right back up and does absolutely nothing. Useless as shit. What the fuck? Okay, we're not gonna talk about that.
What the hell are you doing?
I was predicting Leona's movements, and we're walking up now.
I know.
One's dragging up. Never mind.
They already got it. If I dodge her shit. No.
Please stop attacking Leona.
Enemy rampage. An enemy has been slain. Unstoppable.
Where did Eco go?
The wounds of betrayal never heal.
I hate people that don't understand how to play the game. You focus the ADC 100% of the time. Leona is useless. She's literally a tank. Let me get this. Alright, Volt.
Alright.
Alright, I'm getting off, guys.
Hey, man.
Bye bye.
I'm talking to you, Carter. I'm about to get on a different game.
Oh, okay.
An ally has been
Probably
slain.
Forza. You've never heard of Forza? It's a racing game on Xbox. Oh, yeah, it's on PlayStation.
We are called
This vicious crown of the Shattered Queen. There's no reason fighting anymore unless we get a gank.
Yeah, she's doing the tank.
Holy shit.
You gotta auto her or something to pop that shield.
Alright. And of course, she just missed it.
There, I got it.
Yeah, but there's engage and there's the ult, and I'm stunned.
has been destroyed. Godlike. Shut down.
Outplayed pussy.
I say she's not an ADC, but she's playing the ADC role.
Yeah.
Get outplayed, pussy.
Which is it's a problem for me, because in close quarters,
Look,
I can't
Carter.
compete with her.
Carter,
Yo.
I'll make you a promise. When you come down, I'll try League.
That's a fair bet.
Okay.
Dude, it can be fun if you're playing with friends.
Well, if there's 4 people that I want to be here, it's you, Cole, Micah, and, well, you know, obviously my family. But Cole can't make it. Mike is gonna be there no matter what. I hope you make it. You said you will.
I'm definitely going to be there if I can figure out my gas problem.
You talk to Nana?
Of course.
Oh my god. Dude, smite the dragon.
He had smite? I thought maybe he used it. And he's dead.
Did you talk to Nana, Carter?
No, I haven't seen her tonight since she got home from work. Forfeited 15, by the way. I'm not playing this game.
Enemy double kill.
Vayne. Vayne isn't able to hit on Tom Kench either.
Turret plating will soon fall.
Yeah, Carter, I got the rarest skin in Fortnite now, so that's cool.
Word. What is it?
That.
The Renegade Raider?
I did get the Renegade Raider. I traded my Call of Duty account and got rid of every COD on everything.
We can be end.
The guy was like, I'll make this promise with you if you get every SMG maxed out in one night. I did it, and he traded with me. I have a Renegade Raider now. I have a $1,200 account. Plus my $3,500.
Oh yeah, well I'm taking my jungler's camps as a support because I'm being toxic.
That's cute.
Oh yeah, that's what I did too.
Oh, that's cute.
Me and the two-headed wolf are getting into it right now.
That's cute.
The rest jungle clear? Question mark?
I'm not gonna match on Tinder.
I almost got the
that
Vayne.
bitch is fucking hideous. Oh my god, she's fucking ugly. I feel bad, but Jesus Christ. Alright, well that tells me not to fucking just sideswipe like crazy.
We began as one.
Hey, y'all better be scared of me. Pussy.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Yo, Big Gun, you got a mic? Or, never mind, I read that one.
Bonk, your shield is gone.
Thank you.
Know our pain. No.
You guys got mics and
Nope.
holy shit, I have a crown. I didn't realize that. What's up, bro? I didn't even realize I had a crown. Holy. Hey guys, we gotta win this game. I got a crown.
I wanted to get an engage up before she got her crown back.
Yeah, I saw it. It's just the only thing is, I don't think I ever could at any point 1v1 her.
Fuck.
She really hit that on me. Are you kidding me? And then, yeah, with her ult. How long does her ult last?
I don't know. I don't care. Forfeit.
Well, I had 3 seconds of CC there.
Wait, why am I trying to fight this? I need to leave. Why haven't we forfeited yet? Get this game out of here. Alright, that was very, very rude.
Season 1. Yeah.
I really don't understand. Espia.
Nice. Did you buy anything or just waited? You waited?
Shut down.
Let's
Yeah.
go next. This game's over.
Handle Kali.
Yeah, one of our teammates left. What a guy.
There is no winning this game.
Not you, the guy that left our game. Like, why would you do
No,
that?
he's gonna carry.
Yeah, our 1 in 6 Nocturne's gonna carry. Let's get it.
No, we'll clutch up. I believe in this trio, even though we're playing fucking squads. And our bitch of a teammate left.
We are set in motion.
Winnable. Okay, yeah.
You just
Fight
need
them,
Vayne
man.
and good threshing gauge.
Porter, I know you don't play Fortnite that much, but did you get the free stuff or no?
Has destroyed a turret.
I did.
You did? Okay.
I did.
The presents and shit.
Yeah, the presents.
Yeah, they also give out a free pickaxe for a downtime or some shit, but you probably didn't get that.
Is it like one of those things where you have to have down?
No, it was the very last minute, and I didn't have the downtime because I was sleeping all day. But
I thought you were talking about some Down syndrome type stuff. Like you have to
no,
have
no,
Down
never
syndrome
that,
to
never
get
that.
a
You know,
free pickaxe.
the special edition pickaxe.
Yeah,
you
they're
know
all
what I'm
coming to get
saying?
us right now, by the way.
The special.
Oh hey,
Yeah, I don't know if you saw that coming.
Yeah, they basically gave the pickaxe a free quarter because of a 7-hour downtime. And
Yeah, they're like all down here.
and shit.
well I got out.
Yeah, I did.
All
Yeah,
I
that
did,
also.
I just did the little maneuver and then I was out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was starting to move out. The sad thing is, I could kill these people, but I'm usually getting hit by like 2 of them at a time.
Well, they keep targeting you. That's the thing. They're playing smart by focusing the
I've
80
got range.
carry. Oh, Echo just got licked to death.
Hell yeah.
He got his boy puss munched on by Tom Kent.
Yeah.
Miniar focused me, but that was like a 4v2. So, if I could just had a Moo myself,
Dude,
yeah,
I'm
I would have
telling
killed
you,
Moo.
you are not winning this game.
Well, no, we're not winning this game, but I'm saying the sad part is, I could win some of these fights, even being down like I am.
Alright, battle of the supports right here. Nope, never mind. Moo had to come in and help. Oh my god, it's a 3v1. Oh my god. Oh my.
Yeah, that's what they've been doing all game. They're showing up in packs. I probably could have had, no, I mean, not a lot of kills, but probably could have been like, what, 3 and 7, 1 and 9?
Carter, I can play Minecraft with you guys now.
Oh yeah? Why's that?
Want to play? I got it on my Xbox because I have Game Pass and it's not the same edition that's on my PC.
Word.
I've actually been playing a fuck ton on my Xbox. Carter, I got UFC 4 and I'm kicking people's ass, dude. It is so funny.
Why is he saying Vayne strong? She has one item, she's 0-3. Yeah,
And she
okay,
went
alright.
Blade first, not shield
yeah.
though.
I give up. She should have went Kraken.
Yeah, Kraken or her typical mortal,
You
whatever.
need to go Bloodthirster, then LDR.
Yeah, I am. And we can't roam solo.
I'm just gonna keep side laning. It's gonna be the Inting Scion strat, but with Thresh.
Hell yeah. Get Hallbreaker.
Yep.
Yo, so Carter, do you...
Nope, I'm still going. You can't stop me.
Carter, do you...
Yeah, no longer falling back. Just keep on going.
Carter.
Hang on. Echo is in my earlobe right now.
Why is there echo?
Why wasn't he helping? He was full HP, full mana.
I'm on Discord.
There's no reason to stay after getting that tower because they were all gonna rotate to it. But to be honest, this game's already over and I don't care. I just want to.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's over. Just stay. Maybe
And
we'll
I have yet to
fortunate.
turn up Hunter's volume because we're still in the same game.
Hold on, I got a phone call. Yo, Caden. Did you get off?
We can pinch
What are
Cassie.
you playing? You're playing Rocket League? Oh my god.
Oh, she's running like a bitch now.
Where's your help,
Dude,
pussy?
I thought UFC
Where's your help, pussy?
Ah, goddamn, why she's so fast?
Oh, I was gonna say, if you have UFC 4, I'll kick your ass in it, dude. I bet I will.
God damn it. Did she ult me?
I have 4.
No.
Oh god damn it!
No, I got it with Game Pass.
I
got
thought she
3 and
ulted
4
me
with Game
there.
Pass, but I haven't touched 3.
Why does she have lifesteal? I hate that. Whatever. I have Thornmail
I've
now.
never played it, so we'll both play together.
Can I
Did you have
speed
me
it?
on Xbox?
What, she have like natural life still? Like her passive or something?
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
down
I
with
think
Fortnite,
so.
but
It's
I'm-
like for
I'm
every
playing
time
again,
she
I'm
lands her
playing
E or
again
something
for
like
Valorant.
that. I don't know. I'm getting redemption though.
My main,
I'm gonna get redemption and then I'm gonna get
Look at how
Frozen
strong.
Heart and
Vayne
Force
is.
of Nature.
Actually, Vayne kills this
I
Mumu.
need challenges and shit, dude, honestly.
I'm gonna keep split pushing to victory.
We can still run squads.
Dude, I'm not leaving bot lane. I'm literally just gonna keep split pushing to victory.
Alright.
Oh, so her soul drags up.
You get on Devin for having a bedtime and you got one. What a bitch. Nah, I'm just fucking with you, dude.
We are called.
I get you, bro. Why do you see the same way? Orbs wants to. What the hell? Someone is saying message.
No, it's fine. I got this. Don't worry, guys.
Yeah, I'm dead. I got my ass down. How do you know how to get out of her ult?
You don't look at her, basically.
But I'm saying, how do you get out of it once you've been ulted?
Oh, you can't.
Oh.
It's kind of like a Malzahar ult. You kind of just have to take it.
Oh, it's one of those. Yeah, because, obviously I gotta turn the fighter. And then she ults me, and I'm stunned for...
Dude, this guy just hit me up and asked me if I
Ever.
wanted to buy an account on Instagram.
Your turret has been destroyed. Where we are needed.
He said he has everything.
We were literally... No, we weren't. Because okay, 4 of us pushed bot, we got 1 tower.
I just seen the video on my second account. Oh, wait, that's my second.
Yeah, so yes, tower died, man, I don't give a shit. Two,
Bio says
can't kill
trying to
Mumu.
buy a DTR. He's probably like 12, dude.
Oh, he can't even suicide. He has too much health.
He said trying to buy a GTR, dude. This kid's like 12 years old, dude. He just found out what cars were for the first time. I like the GTR. I want only 400 to the wheel. Like, dude, okay, buddy. Go build your own. Jesus.
We are vengeance.
You gonna use batteries? Imagine using batteries.
No, I'm not strong. I'm way too weak.
Imagine playing on the. Okay, well, I found Xbox. I'm just kidding. The Xbox is cool, dude. I actually vibe with the Xbox a little bit.
Nah, I'm not gonna chase.
You know, I think he's scamming, to be honest with you. No, because Flix sells accounts. Flix his account thing, and Flix just put up. Oh my god, I don't even know how much he's gonna sell his account, but we just put up a Renegade Raider, OG Ghoul Trooper, OG Skull Trooper, Aerial Soul 1, Galaxy, Dark Vertex, Eon, Rogue Spider Knight, Black Knight.
You know what he's fucking saying?
Nope.
No,
Time up.
Carter, right now, I'm just speaking Spanish. Don't even listen. And he wants 2,000 for the account right now.
There's something about buying some game
AS
console.
and gold.
For the account. He's got 530 skins. He wants 2,000.
Oh, game's turning around. I got a kill. Oh shit, Tom Ken showed up.
Sorry, I had to be quiet for a second, guys.
He just popped out of nowhere.
How many are there?
I like how the guy who's like, we can win, is nowhere to be found when they force an engagement with us.
We could have had that Callista killed, because, you know, she's like the
Cassiopeia.
Callista, yeah. You know, that girl right there, the, you know, the girl that is 20 and 2 right now.
We could have had her.
4 items deep, yeah, I mean.
No, I'm just
She
saying.
got an Oblivion Orb, so she's probably either going to full build Morello's, and she doesn't even have boots, by the way, and she's fast.
Yeah, she's super fast. Faster than me. With boots.
She only has Mythic passive movement speed from Crown, and she has Cosmic Drive movement speed, but that's not enough to beat Tier 2 boots at all.
Yeah, no, it's gotta be one of her builders or something. I don't know Cassiopeia well enough to understand.
I don't know her much either, but all I know is that we can pick this Leona because she's by herself.
Joker. Why is she even fast? Jesus Christ. They're all super fast. Like, I can't keep up with any of them, even doing my dashes.
Yeah, what up, Pigeon?
Whatever. Keep pushing. Keep pushing, lad. We are pushing to victory. Oh, we have this shove. Let's go to Dragon.
I didn't...
Take the red buff.
Alright.
Never mind, it's not up.
Oh, it's
You
not.
can take the crows that are coming up though.
Drags up in 5.
Yeah, I know he's good, dude. That kid's
I'll
never
just-
touched grass in his fucking life. He's Travis Scott, and his name's Mr. Watermelon. He has me racially used, I swear.
He said he had TP. He's not coming. I worded it.
Dude, that kid, I'm telling you, he plays the game too fucking much. He was level 400 last season, dude. This kid ever he ever felt a female's vagina? Like, that's a genuine question.
No.
No. She's there, and I'd stay a little bit longer. I almost got enough gold. Of course, he got vision of that bush. It should. That's an obvious.
Yeah, dude, this new account.
I'm gonna keep split pushing to victory.
This one I'm looking at, dude.
Sad thing is, there is a possibility to win this game.
It's got the
I know.
email, you got
That's why I'm
Renegade,
gonna start
OG
trying
Gold,
again.
OG Skull Trooper, Aerial
Oh,
Skull,
yeah, that's why I wanna
Galaxy,
start trying
Dark Vertex, Eon, Rogue Spider Knight, rare epic name.
I'm still gonna spell push,
either a
though.
3-letter or a funny name, like, I don't know, like an OG name, like fucking.
I mean,
Cunt
this
or some
is
shit. I
this
don't
is
know.
ranked.
Wait in
so-
this bush. Wait in this bush. Wait in this bush. Wait in this bush. Come
Yeah,
here.
I'll show you
Get off of it. Oh wait, you're not vain. Never mind.
No, I'm not vain.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Tom comes flying out of
This guy's
nowhere.
legit as shit. I bought a black knight after him.
Oh no. Oh no. Vain. We got an issue. We got a problem, girl.
2000. It's not his.
We
He
got
buys
a
accounts
problem,
and
girl.
sells them, but he's
Well,
legit as
Nocturne's
shit.
coming in. We're slowly behind him. Oh, you guys aren't gonna survive long enough.
I killed her. I killed a collie. I actually killed a collie.
You did,
killed.
You did a lot of damage to her. I don't know if you saw it, your damage there.
Yeah, I did. I did all of the damage to her.
Yeah, you like one tapped her, just about.
Send me your info, dog. I'll see you that account. Actually, I'm just gonna send you a picture of this shit.
Well, Moo just killed himself.
Dude, I have an OG name on Instagram. So
Don't know why he did that. I was hoping he would. Wart?
I don't have 20,000, but I have an OG name.
Yeah, I was hoping he'd do that.
I have the name Cumsocks on Instagram, dog. Yeah, dude. Like, so basically you cannot.
Do you think I should just build
if someone else
crit?
uses a name, you can't use it.
Honestly.
No, once you get
I already got
You-
Bloodthirst.
LDR, and then collectors.
I just sent it to you.
Alright. What do you think of the armor pen for all this shit?
Huh, dude? If I let you play with my other friends, Caden, you gotta promise not to be like,
It's like
That's what I'm saying.
You got shit ton of armor.
no, you can't be like saying stupid.
I'm saying
shit, like,
LDR and collectors.
like mad racist shit and stuff. Hold on, bro. I might have to leave you behind, dog. I'm gonna be honest with you. I probably won't join if they don't say I can. I don't know. I haven't really talked to Cole since he moved, so
Alright, I got redemption now.
Oh, hell yeah,
I'm gonna go
Vayne
for
split
Force
push.
Nature.
I probably won't play with him for very long.
She already knows. You already know.
But you should. I mean, if you want to go play Rocket League again and shit, then I'll still be on, dude. I'll be on.
After this game, I feel like being cheesy and just saying, fuck, I'm playing Swain ADC.
I'd rather you do brand ADC if you're gonna do something like that.
Oh, cause you're COVID shit. So you don't go to this.
I played Swain ARAM the other day, and he's just stupidly powerful.
I know. It's retarded how strong he is.
True.
You gotta be careful here. Yeah, it's about to be just you and I.
I don't care. I'm taking this
Cool, dude.
Gromp.
Fuck with them, dude.
This Gromp is my top priority.
Dude, it's got so much.
Yep, I knew that was gonna happen. Don't look at her. Don't look at her.
Wait, is he cobbed that or you got?
Yep, I looked at her.
You swear? Swear down.
I killed a Moo.
Wait, hold on. I didn't check. What is it linkable to? I didn't see that shit. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. How the fuck are you gonna get $2,000 out of anybody? And why would you spend $2,000 on a Fortnite account? Oh, it's only linkable to PlayStation, PC, and mobile. Yeah, so you wouldn't be able to use it.
They went here.
Back to back we stood. Your inhibitor has been destroyed.
They're backing off and getting the soul.
Why are you fighting?
Yeah, wait. I saw him go in, and I'm like, do your own thing, I guess. Okay.
The purple skull trooper is where? Or pink gold trooper, yes, that is very fucking rare. Pink gold trooper is very rare.
I like that we just let him have soul.
You just act like he was a normal person.
I thought
such
we
a
at
fucking
least
nerd about
would
this
have
game,
tried to
dude.
contest it.
Me.
We had a name once.
Free, when did you were like, oh my god, you're a renegade. You were super cool about it. Bruh,
We are all
dude, the thing I love about this count, I mean, it's just so funny to get people freaked out. Like, it's so retarded that people freak out about this shit. Oh, when I was younger, I did it, but not fucking now. I don't really give a fuck. I see a skin because I have every exclusive on the other account, and I'm like, dude.
nothing shall turn us from our path.
Dude,
We go
I just added Cole. I'm probably gonna run a few of them, and then they're probably not gonna stay up much longer because Cole gets up at like fucking the crack of dawn, like 4 o'clock, and starts working out. So he'll probably get off at like 1, or excuse me, he'll probably get off here at like 3. That's 2 here. He'll probably get off at 3 or 4. Yeah, well, he probably would just get off and go work out. I don't know. Dude, Cole's big as shit, dude. I don't. I'm not doing anything right now. I did. And I fell off.
shut down.
I did good, Daddy. I focus Caspia.
That's a high guess. I mean, I'm gonna say yeah, 280 because our friend Mikey lied about it. He was like, yeah, he can drink 3.
I need to go get my LDR. Oh,
Like, dude,
I need to go help
280.
with Tom real quick.
But he cause he went up to the cause he started working out a lot more when he moved. So he could probably do like 190 now. He'll probably do, let's do 290 now. I don't know what he does. I didn't really fucking ask him. We just always would hang out. I was like, dude, I wasn't always like, yo, what do you do for workouts? It wasn't something that just crossed my mind.
Should I go Grudge next? Get more armor pen? No, I
Yes.
can't buy it. No, I can't buy it. It's locked. Why items get locked like that? I never realized why items get locked like that. Or figured it out.
No, you get the foundation from the battle pass. Yes.
Wait,
Bullshit. No, you're stupid, bro.
Get the
You go to
get the
battle pass,
collectors,
it literally says coming
Yeah,
soon,
that's what I'm
it
doing.
says requires the battle pass.
and then Infinity Edge.
The foundation you get from the battle pass, retard.
Yeah, I'm not strong. I can't
have
be
Fortnite,
up front
but I
and
don't have
engage. They got so many tanks.
My other account, yes, I
Cassiopeia
do.
will just ult me and blind me. Or stone me.
You realize you realize you can click on someone and it tells, like, if you go up to their name and you click on them, it tells you if they have battle pass, right? It tells you if they have Fortnite Career and battle pass. Oh, really? I don't? No shit.
I got just some nerd telling me.
I haven't spent money on this account yet. I'm waiting until March to make sure everything's clarified. You know what I mean? Fucking change everything. What?
Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. I'm coming. Oh my god.
Shit. Shit. Yeah. Yeah, no. There's just no way.
An ally has been slain. An enemy has been slain.
Dude, all you need is a computer. Literally, there's a thing. There's people doing Party Royale lobbies. They can see all your settings and everything. If they have you added, they give it this thing called an Epic account ID. If they have all that info, you're fucked. You're fucked. They type it into a website and tells you your email, password, PDF file, everything. A PDF file, a PDF file. You probably should download a PDF file of your account just so you, because, dude, that PDF file will save your ass when you're talking to Epic.
That game was over. I don't know what that is talking about.
So basically, the PDF file pigeon is basically what it is it tells you everything. The first how much heavy ammo you've picked up, the first words you said when you started playing Fortnite, how much you've spent on V-Bucks, the first time you bought V-Bucks, everything, dude. They know every word we say, dude. They just don't care. It shows every word we kind of say. It doesn't say every word, but it says a good amount of words you say. Yes, it's a PDF file. It saves your ass. Okay, well, if you yell the N word, if you yell the hard R in my ear, I don't really know, but you guys are probably. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't realize I'm sorry.
I'm mission 7-7 for the new 2022 thing.
At Austin and Carter, I'm sorry. I really am.
What happened?
I'm speaking Spanish over here to you guys.
Oh my god, wait, hold on. Your volume is at 200%, bro.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Nigga balls.
HD. I'm just gonna turn off my
Is
music.
that better?
I'm just gonna turn off my music. Speak.
Speak.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I guess that's fine since I don't have music in my ears.
Speak.
Yeah, that probably helps.
Speak.
Rapontrod.
Alright.
That was terrible.
Yeah. It also that was a Cassiopeia.
I'm going Senna. I want to go Senna.
So
You're gonna enter the cash cups, did your dog shit?
I'm gonna see what they ban.
I don't even know what I want to go as Senna.
Gavin's pretty good.
Who do I want to do with?
Gavin is pretty good at the game, dude. Dude, this would be your favorite
man,
skin
who
if
should
you
I
had
ban?
it, bro.
I'm not even sure to.
He said, yeah, it would be, because you're sexy attractive.
Anyway, he's on the ADC, but I don't feel like dealing with Bran.
That I know. Oh my god, bro. Man. Okay, and you just said dudes are hot, bro. What the fuck? He said I'm not wrong. Okay, bro. Okay.
Varus. So they've been Varus, so
You just said
I really doesn't help me. Really have no clue who they're gonna go.
We're doing
I
really
wanted
fucking
something
good.
weird with you,
Presence
I
of
never
Mind, Legend Alacrity, Biggra.
Lose Samira. Oh, she went Samira. Who counters Samira?
That has nothing to do
Caitlyn
with
counters Samira. We're going Caitlyn.
I'm on the case.
Alright, we're going all poke, boys.
That's on you and Jamaica, dog. That ain't
We're gonna
shit
poke
to
the
do
shit
with me.
out of him. Let's
Huh?
do it.
You said you liked it? Fuck, that hurt. Why did you buy that skin? Why'd you buy the bundle? Figured. I was gonna say, I have not seen one person ever wear that skin, dog. I wouldn't say it's rare. It comes back like every fucking week. Dude, I cannot. This shit is so funny to me, dude.
We'll try these guys. This guy's room, so it doesn't look too bad.
People know life this fucking game. Good. Seasons. What is that? Season 8?
I'm gonna try Fleet Footwork as Senna instead of Lethal Tempo.
Mm,
I gotta
doesn't
piss.
sound bad.
I bet you're gonna piss.
I usually like running Hailblaze with her. I like running Hailblaze almost every champ that shoots, or like arrows or whatever. basically any range champ besides Varus. I wouldn't run out of Varus. I mean, granted, I'm not running Hellblades right now, but I'm Caitlyn. She's not really a fast.
You need to run Fleet Footwork or Lethal Tempo.
Yeah, I got lethal. For Caitlyn, it's not viable, really. Another Leona, nice. Oh, the Yee's man. I was about to say, didn't we not have a Yee in their team? Oh, great. He's 24.5 and 12 and 2 played.
Huh?
Oh, look at the Samira. Her averages. Nice. This is going to be splendid.
I don't have Professor anymore. This is a laning Yi.
Yeah.
Silent my dark. Okay, whatever. Apparently our teammates are very cocky going into this game, so I mean, whatever.
Alright, dog. I'll be back.
But no, the Samira, she has 29 played, a 69% win rate, and averages 17, 5, and 5 for over 29 games.
Later.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
You know, I was thinking about banning Samira too.
I never thought I would stand opposite
Oh, shit.
them, guy.
The hell was that? That was retarded. Where the hell is she going?
One down.
Okay.
I was eating my apple and I was getting bonked. I was like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, she was just beating the shit out of you. I don't know what that was.
Yo. What?
I mean, aren't you like using up all your
What
mana
is his
right
name? Don't worry about this name. It's a play on words. It's a play on words. It's a play on words. It's making fun of big basic white bitches, dude. That's the point of it.
I don't like the V was
I
an
can't hear anybody else.
enter. Because she has a lot of play and has decent
Are you
averages.
serious?
Positive averages, at
Just
least.
add me to the FaceTime call. Yeah, this is the best skin in the game. I don't care, bro.
Bonk,
Ah, shit.
That's fucking hilarious.
bonk. So a rising combo right now that's gaining a lot of attraction is Caitlyn and Lux.
Caitlyn's just getting a lot of attraction, period.
True.
She's being banned a lot of those, all the games this season. Not sure why. I don't think she got like buffed or anything. I mean, she's a good laning champ. But outside lane, I feel like she's kind of weak. Or can be weak.
Stay out of my way.
You look like your CSing has gotten better, like with your last hits.
Yeah. And actually, this is only my second game playing ADC this season so far. Because I was trying Sword Yi games, I was playing jungle non-stop. That's all I was playing.
What? Get in front of me, get in front of me.
I know.
Oh, well. I didn't know Leona could just do that through minions.
Yeah.
That's on me. That's on me. Well, that's a exhaust from her.
Yeah, she can do that if you didn't know.
Has been slain.
I might have not needed to flash.
No, I flashed too just to be safe.
Okay. Alright, bro.
I went the wrong way with my
bro.
thing. Lock in the trap, dummy. Good shit. That's everything with Caitlyn I gotta get better about. Using my trap, not only defensively, but offensively, like that.
I'm not gonna lie. I was clenching my cheeks that fight, bro.
I really wasn't. I don't know why. I was just, it is what
But
it is.
I was taking all the damage. That's
Oh,
why.
maybe that's why. Yeah, I wasn't. I was chilling.
Yeah, I'm liking this fleet footwork. I'm not gonna lie.
No hesitation.
Yeah.
All right, it's time to leave it. No. We need to leave. They're gonna get really aggressive.
I'm just gonna wait for the next wave to get here.
The wave's just gonna push back to us, and we'll be fine.
Be good while I'm gone, won't you?
He wants me to go Gale Force. Should I really move with her? I've never gone Gale Force with her. I always thought you'd want to go Kraken, honestly.
You can go Gale Force this game because they're not really tanky. I mean, you have the Scion, Vi, and Leona, but I mean, the Scion's gonna go lethality because he's running Dark Harvest. This Vi is retarded, and the Leona isn't enough for you to go Kraken.
I can run it. I've never used it though, honestly. I've always gone Kraken with her.
Predictable.
Boom.
On Dragon.
Yeah.
An ally has been slain.
I'm ward this real quick.
You cannot outrun your crimes. Boom. Headshot.
An enemy has been slain.
Oh, she's in the bush. Shit, I actually was not expecting that at all. I thought she went up the drag.
An enemy has been slain.
Not so close. Fancy a treat?
Why am I stunned?
Yeah, I don't know what stunned you. I also not sure. I saw that. I was like, you might want to move, buddy.
The heart
I just missed it.
Piltover is its people.
They should be doing more to us. They have the better engage.
True. I don't want to get too aggressive though. I don't know where their jungler is.
Well, no, I'm fine where we're at. I'm up 3-0. We're still behind in CS, but then again, we did leave lane for a little bit of good items. They didn't.
Oh, we're chilling.
As expected. The Lord bends for no one.
We don't need to throw away our lead, basically. I'd honestly just we need it back. Let's just get a reset. Let them shove back out to us.
If time never suits, then I best put on another pot of tea.
Not before I bonk Leona.
Yeah, I'll get my boots. My booties.
Freeze.
Yeah, I used to pretty much hate every single Yi skin, just about. I don't know why. And I finally got a good one I like, Project Yi. That's a really good skin if you haven't seen it.
I always aim to win, and my aim is perfect. Anything you say can and will be used against you.
Oh, I just split the two of them.
I was about to say, did that just do no damage? Like, I was so confused.
No, like you, I shot it and they moved as I shot it, so it went between both of them.
No, I'm talking about my ult.
Oh, yours? I did notice that when I've been playing Senna lately, because I've been thinking about going Master Level 7 with her. And, yeah, my ult is very weak early game.
No, I'm talking about, like, it didn't affect him at all. Like, there was, like, a little lag spike
No,
whenever I ulted. And then it did no damage to him. Like, I made sure the center of my ult hit them.
No, that's what I'm saying, yeah. Mine's been incredibly weak to the point where, yeah, it doesn't seem like it's done anything to him. So I don't know if it's
I'm
a
just,
actual
I'm
problem.
confused. I don't know. I'm just confused.
No, I've had the same issue. I don't know why.
I'm gonna sit here and wait for my Sheen.
Yeah, I'll just probably freeze them.
No stone left unturned.
An ally has been slain.
She did not like me dancing there.
Let's investigate.
Yep, there.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Get a little bit of CS.
In position.
Scion is 2-1, by the way.
It's gonna be expected right now. He's going up against Nasus. Nasus is gonna scale so much harder though. I'm not really worried about it.
If he knows what he's doing. He might not know what he's doing.
I hope he does.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a Scion ult.
Yeah, I know. That's not where he's going. Oh, he's coming down here.
Oh, okay, yeah. He hurts, by the way. Don't let him
Yeah.
touch you.
Yeah,
He's
you
got
got one.
booties.
Yeah, you got one tap on me. We're fine.
I love fleet footwork. Wow, this is really good on Senna.
I see people run it. But it's also usually when I'm playing Senna, though. I'm not going to support. I'm just going to be the backup ADC. If my regular ADC doesn't do well. So I'll run fleet forward.
Never a dull moment.
Whoop. Oh, just missed her.
Oh, close.
Okay, she hit that. That's fine. Okay, this is not fine. This is not fine. This is not fine. Ooh. Had to heal and everything to make it out. See, if you didn't get her, I had my ult, so that works. You know, I gotta admit, this feels pretty damn good. Shutting down this OTP. Oh shit, I hit my Q accidentally. Oh well.
Someone's here.
Oh shit. Yep. And I was just getting ready to go channel 2.
I didn't know it was Vi. I just saw the sweeper. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it.
I'll be adding that to the charges. No matter the situation, a good investigator always remains strong.
Oh yeah, he's not gonna catch that Leona. Am I gonna chase for her? Maybe he hasn't come down now.
Let's crack this case wide open.
Enemy killing spree.
I'm still really thinking I should go Kraken, just because of the Scion. And fly.
Always maintain a proper chain of command.
E-flash.
Yeah, I was getting ready to put my all on, so I thought maybe I had it, but... Trying to get to the Samumu. He's getting beat up.
Will soon fall.
I cannot afford to falter.
Drax coming up.
Your turret has been destroyed.
Crime is common, logic is rare.
Oh, it's Leon's going river. Oh, she.
Do not disturb the crime scene until I return. They cannot run from the long arm of the law, nor from the scope of my rifle.
She was desperate for tower there. Super desperate. She was willing to sacrifice herself just to get a tower. And she didn't get it. Almost. But just not.
An ally has been slain.
I'm on the job.
Dominating. Double kill.
It's kind of weird. This Vi is not even really going tank, she's just going lethality.
That's what I did. I went Eclipse.
Nothing when they fail to
I mean, it's not
okay.
I mean, yeah, it's not a bad build, just...
I went Eclipse first item instead of Divine.
Not a bad build, but just odd. Like we all said, we're just gonna go fuck up this Scion.
He's gonna ult away. How much you wanna bet?
I am not
Probably, once he sees all of us show up.
Bro. If I can get fleet footwork proc, yes I can. Go. Go.
Still wasn't enough.
Your turret has been destroyed.
You got him. Now I gotta wait, get the hell away from him.
Let's go.
They got bot tower, but I really don't care. That doesn't matter.
Why are you here? Why? Why? Like,
Why is Nasus going all in on a Samira and Leon? I mean, I know they're not doing well, but still, you can't go all in on those two.
okay, I gotta just go all the way back. This Vi just wants to chase me, huh? I mean, you're not gonna catch me, bro.
Someone call for a sheriff.
Just that real quick, Chris Apple snap.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
What should I do? Black Cleaver or Rapid Fire Cannon?
Rapid fire cannon. I love... The way I've been playing Senna is I just go off crit items until they get the late game. I have a 100% crit chance.
Then you get life steal left over.
Yeah. I was like, isn't that called Shotgun Senna build?
Yeah.
When it's like a
Yeah.
shotgun hitting you all crit? Yeah, that's how I like playing Senna.
I'm here to protect.
So, what I do is I do Divine Sunder into RFC and then Black Cleaver as my core build. And then I do IE Collector.
Okay.
This Vi is really pissing me off, dude. She's just sitting in a bush. That's all she's doing. In the jungle, sitting in a bush.
She's just cheesing.
I'll have this finished before tea time.
So you're doing more of a, kind of like a tank build, actually.
No, it's still full crit.
Well, it's crit.
It's everything, bro. That's why I like it.
Oh, see, I do Kraken, the main Berserkers, so I go attack, speed, AD, and crit. My items are not as tanky, so I can be killed if you get a hold of me.
You see, for me, it's I just got everything.
I have to look up the items again, the item list. I can't corner off, you know, all the money good.
Not by a long shot.
E flashed.
That's fine. What? Aw, man, you live with like 1 health.
Got him.
If crime never sleeps,
Yeah, why are we all channel? We don't need the all channel. There's dragon.
Can we fight the people?
No.
There's 2 people in this bush.
So? Don't worry about it. What are they gonna do? You can fight them now.
On to the next case.
Mirror flash.
That's fine. Well, I'm so okay. I get Kraken. And what do I go next? I always forget. Oh, Ronin's Hurricane. I go that next. Usually.
This bitch is really pissing me off.
I was like on my M's list. I wasn't paying attention. But still, she shouldn't have just been sitting there.
I never wanted this, Vi. Pay no attention to the traps.
Yeah, what am I thinking? We don't have to worry about the Samara. She's not a problem.
Watch her kill you.
Yeah, no. She ain't gonna kill me.
Not disturb the crime scene until I return.
Yeah, that probably would have been her time to do it, though. Yeah, no. Yeah, so Kraken, Ronin's Hurricane, and then usually from there it's kind of whatever I feel. Then usually either Rapid Fire Cannon, just any attack speed, crit, attack damage items are just what I go.
I always aim to win.
So actually,
Yeah, I'm gonna do Black Cleaver for sure.
when I think about it, I don't really do much AD. I pretty much use all crit and attack speed. But it shreds you, because it's so much crit and attack speed, it's a nuisance.
Well, you get Adaptive Force off of your passive anyway.
That too, so I don't really have to worry about it. Oh, I just love attack speed builds. I thought about doing it with Kayla, but sadly she doesn't really benefit off attack speed as much as on-hit stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The heart of Piltover is its people.
Ah, shit. Good job.
I will not tolerate lawlessness.
Yeah, you got enough of you going to hell, Scion. No, why you go down there, Mumu? We don't need you down there, Mumu. We need you in mid.
Turret has been destroyed. Your turret has been destroyed.
The law bends for no one. As expected. It's my business to know what others do not. No stone left unturned.
We're doing guitar. Yeah, Navy, push up a little bit. Sion's gonna be coming.
He's probably coming to me.
No, he's coming to you.
I was right!
I didn't think he'd be coming to you. You gotta try and work him up here if you can.
I'm fine.
There you go, from there. She's gonna hit that. Yep, there she goes. Give me a thumbs up, pussy. Okay. Should just give up there?
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Never a dull moment.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
can break a case.
We all warded it. Oh shit, why'd I hit that? I didn't want to get my position away. I'm retarded. Well, actually, Moon's gonna be over the wall too. Might as well join it.
An easy swallow.
Come here, Yi. I forgot Yi was in this game.
Let's crack this case wide.
Oh, hey. Ah, well, yeah, she gets me there. Nothing I can do about that.
An enemy has been slain.
Oh, that's the only thing about your build. Your attack speed is so slow.
Yeah, but it scales. It doesn't matter.
I mean, it scales, but
By the time I have core build, I'll have like 1.5.
oh, see, I'm looking when I do my build with her. I'm looking at 2.
Don't
Just-
need that much.
Just chunk, 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 chunk. Well, you don't need it, but it's annoying as hell.
And this time I will not fail.
When you have range, it really doesn't matter because you're not supposed to really. If you were like Samira or like Misfortune, I mean, like it'd be different. But if you're playing Senna, you're just kind of staying back and doing so much damage with your autos. I guess it really doesn't matter because there's so many good builds on Senna.
Well, yeah, I think it's all personal preference. I just love attack speed builds. I mean, it's either way it works. If I'm standing back and just pelting you relentlessly, that's annoying. Or if you're hitting hard each time, that's annoying too. So either way, it's still a problem.
Shut down.
Headshot.
They're coming to you. Well, the rest of the boys are coming to you. Yeah, I gotta get Scion.
Always maintain
Your turret has been destroyed. Double kill.
Oh, he doesn't want to play with me.
An enemy has been slain.
I cannot afford to falter.
Oh, you ulted down there. I'm like, why did you ult me? It just
Yeah, we were fighting.
yeah, it just came across me. I'm like, I'm fighting minions. You think I'm that bad? I'm 11 and 2. I'll be fine.
Crime is common. Love is rare.
Alright, we got core build. Yeah, why not? I'll pick up
Surrender now.
I don't know what I should pick up actually. I'll do Mortal Reminder, and then I'll do
Never sleeps, then I best put on another.
I went,
Infinity Edge.
yeah, I already got Infinity Edge. I went Collector Infinity Edge. I don't know what I want to go into this. I think we'll go Runa's Hurricane. Yeah, let's go Runa's Hurricane.
I do love a good mystery.
I don't know why they haven't forfeited yet. They literally have 3 people that have yet to get a kill. That's not realized that. 04, 09, 08.
Shut down.
I think they think they're going to win off a split pushing. Which actually,
I'm on the job.
that could potentially work. If we don't play it right.
See, with the build that I'm doing right now,
Seen until I return.
I get to the point where I one-shot melee minions.
That is pretty strong.
Exactly.
I mean, you one-shot them, but I feel like I could probably clear a wave quicker though, just because of my attack speed.
You won't escape.
So I can just about one-shot them too. Takes me about 2.
Unstoppable.
Oh, goodness, you're annoying.
Slain.
God damn it, that boy almost killed me.
Won't you? They cannot run from the long arm of the law, nor from the scope of my rifle.
What's Sion gonna do?
It's a good question.
He's split, but like, I don't think his splits are gonna win you the game.
Got them in my
We got Elder in 30.
I'll just ult it.
Oh shit, I fucked up my flash.
Alright, let's go get LDR now. Start building towards that. And then... No. IE. and then LDR. IE. I'll just do IE, actually, no LDR. I'll be okay.
You don't really need LER just for Leona. That's really it.
It was really for Leon and Vi, but I have Divine Center. I already do a lot of damage.
We really don't even need it for Vi. I mean, she is tanky, but she doesn't have any tank items. So,
Yeah, this game's over.
yeah, it's
suspect.
not really necessary.
Where's IE at? Oh, right here.
Until you said dumbasses. Has he ganked the lane once? He never came bot.
I did. No, he's the mid laner, bro.
Oh, that's Raph. Shit, I forgot. I forgot he did the mid. Regardless, he was completely
A
useless.
professional is always aware of her surroundings.
Assus, you can't do that.
I know you can still, I'm just helping you. What am I gonna go do?
I'm gonna split push myself, actually.
Someone called for a sheriff.
This ain't good for me. Oh, never mind, it's fine for me. Mumu kind of pissed me off a little bit there. I can so. What's there for me to do? Why not help you secure a Baron faster, just on the off chance that V pops up her head and steals it?
She was topside.
Yeah, she was topside.
Mhm.
If she was paying attention, she could have came down if it was Mumu on his own.
I'm not here to serve. I'm here to protect.
I don't know. I always feel it's best if you have someone nearby help you with the objective. Secure that. I'm crit for 720.
When I pick up my souls, I crit for 1. No.
I don't mind if she kills me, honestly, because she just gets killed either way.
Your team has destroyed a turret.
Just went right in.
I'll be adding that to the charges.
An enemy has been slain. An ally has been slain.
Well, that was fun and interactive.
Laws mean nothing when they fail to protect the public.
I need 700 gold. I'm full build after this item.
Do I kill her from that? Oh no, she's too tanky. I forgot to try it. Yeah, mid gap. Yeah, it's not bot's fault at all. 2, 12, and 0, 11.
I'll have this finished before tea time.
Well, I feel satisfied. We shut down a 17-5 and 5 Smearia.
Yeah, you. Hard to beat the 280Cs.
Essentially.
Senna's a lot of fun.
I didn't even get an S. Wow.
S, let's go, baby!
Yeah, I only got an A. What's up,
I got-
sure?
I only got 8 LP from that game. Man, the fucking League of Legends is stingy as crap.
Oh, I didn't pay attention how much I got.
All I know is that we should probably just continue this tomorrow. And gaining
You guys getting
LP.
off?
Oh, dude, I'm exhausted. I should have gone to
Oh.
bed 3 hours ago.
Alright, I'll talk to you guys later.
See ya, man.
Alright.
I'll see you later, Kyle.
Alright.
Later.
I'll see you in Florida, Hunter, in the next
Okay, well,
couple
that's
of days.
the first time I've ever seen a Java gold, but it's a dog shit gold. Later, Carter. I'll see you when you come to Florida.
Mwah.
Oh, you think?
Part about today's story is it could happen to anyone. But before we get into today's story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload 3 or 4 times every week. So if that's of interest to you, please gift the like button one of those magic 8 balls that tells the future, but change all of the potential responses to reply hazy, try again. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. All right, let's get into today's story. On the night of October 25th, 2009, a fit, healthy 30-year-old man named Alex was at home in San Diego watching TV in bed. At some point, he noticed there was a slight pain in his left Achilles tendon. A tendon is the fibrous connective tissue that connects muscle to bone, and the Achilles tendon is the biggest tendon in your whole body, and it's the one you can feel on the back of your ankle. It connects your calf muscle to your heel. Alex had never had tendon pain before, and so he assumed it must just be tightness from the long walk he had taken that night around his neighborhood. And so after massaging it for a little while, eventually he kind of forgot about it and just kept watching TV until he fell asleep for the night. The next morning when Alex woke up, he immediately recognized that the pain in his left Achilles tendon was 10 times worse. It was blindingly painful, and then his right Achilles tendon was also now starting to hurt. And so he reflexively reached under the covers and tried to massage his sore tendons, but as soon as he touched the backs of his legs, he felt shooting pain in that area, and so he couldn't touch them anymore. And so instead, he swung his legs off the bed and he sat up on the edge of his bed. And then he slowly rocked forward until he transferred his weight onto his feet and tried to stand up. And as soon as he did, he fell to the ground because of the blinding pain in his tendons. And so he manages to pull himself back up using the bed, and then he hobbles his way out of his bedroom over to the top of the stairs, and then he grabs the railing and he carefully makes his way down the stairs. And as he's walking, it feels like the tendons are so tight, they're gonna snap like a rubber band. And so he gets to the bottom of the stairs and he walks his way around into the kitchen, where he sits down and he kind of evaluates what's going on. And he thinks to himself, man, I must be developing a wicked case of tendinitis. Tendinitis is inflammation or irritation of the tendon. And so Alex grabbed his laptop, which was right in front of him. He opened it up and he began looking for ways to alleviate pain from tendinitis. And so after looking in a couple medical forums, he got up and hobbled his way over to the bathroom. He opened up the medicine cabinet and he grabbed the Icy Hot, which is a topical pain reliever. And then he hobbled his way into the first floor living room, where he laid down on the couch, and then he applied a healthy amount of Icy Hot on the backs of both of his legs right over his tendons. And then he propped his legs up on 2 pillows. So he laid there and he's thinking, okay, it's the weekend, I have today off, I'll just lay here until the pain subsides. But by that evening, the pain had not subsided, it had gotten progressively worse. And so Alex picked up the phone and he called a podiatrist, which is a doctor who specializes in feet and the lower half of your leg. And he made an appointment for the following morning to have a look at his Achilles tendons. And so after he hung up, Alex thought to himself, you know, the best thing I can do is probably just go to bed. I'm bound to feel better in the morning. And so Alex hobbles his way back up the stairs, holding onto the railing, and he goes into his bathroom to wash his face. He reaches for the towel, and he notices his thumb is suddenly locked up. He can't move his thumb. And then his other thumb, too, locks up. He's looking at them, and he can't get them to move, and so with his other fingers, he tries to move that thumb and bend that thumb, but he can't do it. The tendon in both of his thumbs had suddenly become unbelievably tight to the point where he couldn't move his thumbs anymore. Up until this point, Alex had convinced himself that whatever was happening with his Achilles tendons was probably minor, that with or without medical intervention, it was bound to just get better. But now he wasn't so sure, because the thumb situation That really scared him. He had never experienced anything like that, and he couldn't help but think that whatever was happening in his thumbs was probably what was happening in his Achilles, making this a much more complex problem. So Alex forgets about washing his face or even going to bed, and instead leaves the bathroom and grabs the railing and hobbles back downstairs. He makes his way into the kitchen with the stiff thumbs, and he sits down at the table, he opens up his laptop, and he begins looking for any information about what is happening to him. A few minutes into his search, he was about to type something into Google when all of a sudden he felt the rest of his fingers start to lock up. The tendons in his fingers were tightening up just like his thumbs and just like his Achilles tendons. And so now Alex is going into crisis mode. He doesn't know what's happening to him. He has no idea what to do, but he manages to calm himself down, and he told himself, Alex, tomorrow you've got a doctor's appointment. They'll know what's wrong with you. They will fix this. Everything's going to be just fine. And so despite his overwhelming urge to panic, he closes his laptop, and he hobbles his way over to the stairs, he climbs up to the second floor, and he goes directly into his bedroom, crawls in bed, and he goes to sleep. The next morning when he woke up, the tightness and pain in his Achilles tendons and in his hands had not gotten any worse, and that kind of comforted Alex. He's thinking, okay, we're past the worst of this. I just need to figure out what this is and then fix it. So he crawled out of bed, he hobbled his way over to the stairs, he went down, he grabbed a quick bite to eat, and then he went outside to his car to head out to his doctor's appointment. When he got to his car, he reached for the door handle, and when he pulled on it, he felt an unbelievable surge of pain in the hand that was on the car. And when he looked down, all of the joints in that hand that had been pulling on the car, they had all separated. Like the connective tissue that kept his finger whole was no longer strong enough. So Alex screamed and he retracted his hand in horror, and when he looked at it, the joints had gone back to normal, but the pain in this hand persisted. And so on adrenaline alone, Alex managed to use his other hand and got the car door open. He went inside, and then he could barely grip the steering wheel because one hand is now wrecked and his other hand is not much better, but he managed to speed to the doctor's office, and then when he got inside, he could barely fill out the paperwork because one hand was wrecked and the other wasn't much better, so he couldn't grip the pen. But after he gave them his paperwork, the doctor finally came out and they brought him back to the exam room, and that's when Alex explained that originally it was just his Achilles tendons. That's why he had called for this appointment, but after making that appointment, not only had the pain in his Achilles gotten much, much worse, but there was also now pain and tightness in his hands, including one hand that just fallen apart when he tried to open a door. Alex told the doctor that he had never experienced anything even remotely resembling this in his entire life. He led a very healthy lifestyle and really had no idea what could be causing this. Although he did say 10 days prior, he had finished a round of antibiotics. The drug was called Cipro, but previously he had used this drug with no issues. But as a precaution, he told the doctor because he knew one of the side effects of this drug was tendon problems. And so as a precaution, Alex had actually brought the paperwork for that drug, Cipro, and he gave it to the doctor. And so the doctor, after hearing the story, he reads through the fact sheet of this drug, and he tells Alex that he doesn't think it's a side effect of the drug. He thinks Alex is showing all the signs of having an autoimmune disease, like lupus or multiple sclerosis, and that he needs to go to a rheumatologist and get tested for that. And so Alex is horrified by this. He can't believe that only a couple of days ago he was totally normal, and now it felt like his whole life was falling apart. So he left that appointment, he went out to his car, and he called a rheumatologist and set up an appointment for a couple of days later to get tested, and then he went home. And over the next couple of days, as he waited for that next appointment, his condition only got worse. Every muscle, joint, and connective tissue in his body was either extremely tight or hurt or both. By the time he made it to the rheumatologist's office, he could barely move on his own. After the doctor had run several tests on Alex, Alex began mentally preparing himself to be told that he had an autoimmune disease. He believed at this point that that was the most logical explanation for what was happening. But when the test results came back in, he was negative across the board. He did not have an autoimmune disease. And so Alex hobbled out of the office, got out to his car, and sat down, and he was in pain and at a loss. He had no idea what was happening to his body, and it seemed like none of the experts knew either. And so when Alex got back to his house, he made his way into the kitchen and sat down to do some research, but he felt like he was at a loss there too. He didn't even know what to research. He had searched for every possible combination of pain, tightness in your Achilles, pain, tightness in your hands and your fingers, and nothing was lining up with his experience. And so he thought to himself, you know, even though that podiatrist ruled out the antibiotic he had taken a cycle of before he started feeling the way he was feeling, even though he ruled that out, I might as well do some more research on it because it's the one thing I can point to that was newly introduced to my life before I had all these things happen to me. And so he opened up his laptop and he typed in Cipro side effects, and what he discovered horrifying. Cipro is part of a class of antibiotics called fluoroquinolones, and while it is a very effective antibiotic, it comes with extremely severe side effects. And enough people who have taken a fluoroquinolone have suffered from these side effects that there's actually a term given to them. They are said to have been floxed. And as Alex discovered in his research, there are many online communities for these floxed individuals, many of which used to be healthy and fit, but after taking these drugs, they became bedridden or had to transition to a wheelchair. This is due to one of the nastiest side effects of this class of drug: ruptured tendons. As a reminder, a tendon connects muscle to bone. And so if you were to say a tendon has ruptured, what you're actually saying is the muscle has torn off of the bone. And apparently, this is unbelievably painful and almost always requires surgery to fix. And in many of these floxing cases, the fluoroquinolone drugs cause these people's tendons to start dramatically tightening until they just start rupturing. And there's nothing they can do to stop it unless they stop moving, hence becoming bedridden and transitioning to wheelchairs. When Alex read all these horrible testimonials of people who had been floxed, he realized their experience mimicked his own. He was floxed. But once he knew what he was up against, he began looking for a timeline. How long would he have these symptoms for? And what he saw was most people experience these awful symptoms for about 3 months and then they fade away. So for 3 months, Alex suffered, but he stayed positive. He was certain he was going to get better. But 3 months came and went, and he didn't get better. In fact, he got worse. All of his tendons continued to tighten, and some of them ruptured, and he had to quit his job and had to move in with his parents. But he stayed positive. He went back online, and he began reading about more severe floxing cases, and he saw those people typically saw a big turnaround at the 3-year mark. And while that was overwhelming and awful and disheartening, he at least had something to look at as the light at the end of the tunnel. And so for 3 more years, he waited and waited in pain. He eventually became completely bedridden and completely dependent on his parents. But then the 3-year mark came and went, and much like the 3-month mark, nothing got better, he just got worse. And that was when Alex realized he was in the range of people that suffer from their floxing permanently. In 2016, so 7 years after taking his first dose of Cipro, he wrote a blog post on his website updating the world about his condition. In it, he says it's only gotten worse and that his life effectively came to an end in 2009 when over a 6-day period he swallowed those 12 Cipro pills. And so now all he looks forward to is his recovery. So that's going to do it, guys. If you found the secret in today's video, let us know in the comments section what it is and where you found it, so give us the timestamp. If you're the first to do that, we'll pin you at the top of the comments section. If you got something out of today's video and you haven't done this already, please gift the like button one of those magic 8 balls that tells the future, except replace all of the potential answers with reply hazy, try again. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly 3 or 4 video uploads. If you want to get in touch with me, you can direct message me on Instagram or on Twitter. My username for both platforms is the same, it's JohnBallin416. I also have a ton of content over on TikTok where my username is Mr. Ballin. I also have a second YouTube channel called Mr. Ballin Shorts where I post random short videos and lost episodes. If you have a story suggestion, please submit it to our subreddit just called Mr. Ballin. It's linked in the description below. So whether I see you on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, or some combination, just know that I really appreciate your support, and until next time, that's going to do it. See you. Sure enough, they went way faster. They bombed all the way down this track. It was so much fun. They were totally exhilarated. And after doing it a couple more times, they decided, okay, you know, our luck's going to run out. We're going to get caught. And so they climbed back over that blue fence and snuck out of the park without getting caught. The following weekend, those 3 same boys, along with 5 of their friends they had recruited, returned to Canada Olympic Park after hours. And so the 3 boys that had been there the weekend before, they led the group up the hill. They got to that blue fence that surrounded the luge starting house, and one by one, each of these teenage boys climbed up and over this fence and made their way up the stairs into the starting house. Once they were inside, they began figuring out who was going to go in each of the 3 sleds they brought along. And they determined they would put 3 boys in the first sled, 3 boys in the second sled, and 2 boys in the final sled. Because of how successful the previous weekend's trip down the luge track had been, according to the 3 boys that had gone, this time the group decided they did not need helmets because this was relatively safe. They also decided not to bring headlamps because they figured it would be more exhilarating to go flying down this track in the darkness. And so a little after midnight on February 6th, the first 3 boys climbed into the first sled and pushed off. At first, it was going exactly to plan. It was fun, they were going fast, it was exhilarating, but then disaster struck. Unlike the previous weekend, this weekend, there was a metal chain that had been strung across one of the sections towards the bottom of the luge track. It was there to keep a particular section of the track in place. And so these boys, as they come flying around the corner, they don't see it, and they strike this chain at full speed. Now, this chain was at neck height, and so when it hit them, it instantly decapitated and killed one of the boys. He was a 17-year-old named Evan Caldwell. And so he dies immediately, and the other 2 are thrown from the sled and landed unconscious. Now, back up at the starting house, they have no way of knowing this has happened to the first sled. Not only because they can't see anything, but also because the boys in the first sled are not making any sound. They're either unconscious or deceased. And so at some point, the second group of boys thinks they've waited long enough to account for the first sled to get down and out of the way. And so they load up their sled and they push off. And so they go flying down, it's going great, but just like the first sled, at some point they turn that corner and they hit that chain. But miraculously, the second group of 3 boys, they hit the chain in such a way that they kind of slipped under it. And so they were all thrown from their sled and kind of smashed into the track. But the worst injury of the second sled was just a broken ankle. And so this group, they stand up and they're totally disoriented. It's dark. They don't know what they just ran into. And before they had a chance to kind of collect their thoughts and yell up to the starting house to try to warn the third and final group not to go, it was already too late. All the boys could do in the second sled group was to just get out of the way as the third and final sled carrying the final 2 boys came bombing down, and they too struck that chain at full speed. One of the 2 boys on board this third and final sled was a 17-year-old named Jordan Caldwell, and he too, unfortunately, would be decapitated by the chain and would die instantly. He was actually the twin brother of Evan Caldwell, the boy on the first sled, and also the other boy on the third sled would be thrown from the sled and would suffer grievous injuries as well. One of the survivors of the crash was actually on the first sled. His name was Caleb, and he was knocked unconscious from being thrown. When he came to, he was laying in a section of the track that was covered by a tarp. And at first, he couldn't see anything, he couldn't hear anything, but he just felt like there was something lodged in his throat, and it was making it very hard to breathe. Most likely, that was just from his throat being crushed in from hitting that chain. And so as he's struggling to breathe, his senses began to come back to him, and his sight came back, and he noticed he was laying down, and one of the boys who had been on the second sled was kneeling next to him. This was one of the boys that had not been badly hurt, and he had his hand on Caleb's shoulder, and he was praying for Caleb to survive. And so as Caleb is taking in that someone is praying over him, he notices somewhere else, his hearing is starting to pick up. He can hear someone else, who would turn out to be a boy named Mark, who was on the first sled, who had been very badly injured, his face was very badly beaten up. He was laying somewhere nearby, and he was just singing this religious song. He was trying to keep spirits high, and he was trying to will people to hold on and to survive as long as they possibly could. And then Caleb remembered hearing someone calling 911, and then he doesn't remember what happened next. When the paramedics ultimately arrived within the hour, they got to the track and they found all of these boys spread out all over the track because when they hit this chain, they got sent flying. But they discovered these twins were actually laying right next to each other, and none of these surviving boys had moved their bodies. And so even though the grief was just unfathomable amongst this family that had lost their two sons, there was some solace in the fact that despite having come down in different sleds, that the twins, Evan and Jordan, were together in their final moments. The 6 survivors of this accident would walk away from it with head injuries and other medical issues, and they would walk away with an indescribable sense of guilt and regret. But they consider themselves lucky because at least they survived. IQ, which stands for intelligence quotient, is a measure of someone's intelligence. To find your IQ, you need to take an official IQ test, which gives you an IQ score. The vast majority of people will score about 100 as their IQ, and so that's considered to be the average intelligence for any given person. But a very small number of people will score somewhere between 130 and 160. That's considered to be a very high IQ. Those are very, very gifted people. And then there is an even smaller group of people that score above 160. And so that is the genius class. Anybody who scores above 160 is literally a genius. To give you a sense of just how rare that is, Albert Einstein, who's largely considered to be one of the smartest people to have ever lived, he was not even considered a genius, at least not by his IQ. He was about 160, so right on the cusp of genius. But as we will learn from this story, having an exceptionally high IQ does not make you immune to making unfathomably bad choices. In 1991, 31-year-old Jackie Katarik, who had a genius IQ of 170, so she was smarter than Albert Einstein, she graduated from UCLA Medical School with honors. She completed her medical residency, which was like a multi-year apprenticeship for new doctors, at Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Los Angeles, which is one of the very best hospitals in America. After that, she opened her very own practice just north of LA in a town called Bakersfield, California, and she also became a part-time professor at her alma mater, UCLA. By all accounts, Jackie was brilliant, she was successful, and she loved what she did, and her patients and students loved her right back. Fast forward to 2010, Jackie was 49 years old, and she was still running her very successful practice, and she was still teaching at UCLA, and she was in an on-again, off-again relationship with a 58-year-old woman named Lori. While the details of their relationship are not really publicly known, it's fairly easy to deduce from the reporting that came from the States that Jackie and William fought a lot. On Wednesday, August 25th of that year, Jackie was spotted by herself at a Mediterranean restaurant in Bakersfield, California, having some drinks. And then at some point during the night, she called a ride service to pick her up and take her home again. Even though we don't know this for sure, it's assumed that she was too intoxicated to drive, and that's why she was called the ride service. The following morning, Jackie did not show up to work. Her assistant at her medical practice is the one who noticed that Jackie hadn't shown up. So she didn't. She called her boss, but her boss didn't pick up. And so after a couple of failed attempts at getting in touch with Jackie, this assistant called Jackie's boyfriend, William. And so William, he picks up the phone, and when the assistant asks him, hey, have you seen Jackie at work today? William actually says, yes, I saw her last night. William would explain to the assistant that the night before, he was in his house by himself in Bakersfield, California, not far from this restaurant where Jackie was seen. And he said that at some point, unannounced, he saw Jackie pull up in front of his house. And so he could tell from her general demeanor and look on her face that she was upset about something, or he could sense there was going to be some conflict if he went to the door. And so he decided to actually slip out the back door and kind of run away from his property before Jackie could see him. And so he actually left the property and went to a friend's house that was nearby and spent the night with this friend. And so when the assistant called William, William was actually still at this friend's house. He had not been back to his actual property. And so he would tell the assistant that, the last I saw of Jackie, it was late at night. She had pulled up in front of my house, but then I split. So I don't know what she did. I assume she left. But William would tell the assistant that, you know what, I'll go back over to my house and I'll see if she's still there or if there's some indication of where she might have gone. And so William hangs up the phone, he leaves his friend's house and walks the couple of blocks back to his own property. And when he gets there, sure enough, right out front of his house is Jackie's car. Now, William knew his house was locked and Jackie didn't have a key. And so Jackie must just be sitting in her car waiting for him to return. And so William walks up to the car expecting to see Jackie and expecting probably to fight about something. But when he gets up to the car, Jackie's not in there. But her purse, her cell phone, her wallet, that's all over the inside of the car. And so William turns and looks at his house thinking, is she in the house? Did she somehow get in? Is she on the back of the house? And so William just starts yelling out for Jackie as he begins to walk around his house. And so as he goes around towards the back of the house, he's yelling out for Jackie. No one's calling back. And then he reaches the back of the house and there's no sign of Jackie, but he sees there's a shovel on the ground near his back door. And then he looks at his back door and it looks very obviously like someone, probably Jackie, had been using the shovel to try to pry open the back door. Like they were trying to break in, but it hadn't worked. And so William just kind of sees that and then continues walking around the other side of the house. So he's completely walked around the entire property. There's no sign of Jackie. And so he's thinking, okay, I guess she must have gotten in somehow. She's in the house somewhere. And so William goes to the front door. He unlocks his front door. He goes inside. And even though he knows all of his doors have been locked, all the windows are locked, he's kind of on edge because he's thinking she's got to be in here. But he walks through his house and there's no sign of Jackie. And there's no sign that anybody else had been in there since he was last in there. And so he's totally puzzled because it doesn't really make any sense that Jackie's car is out front. But he's thinking, okay, maybe she got here and then she called a ride service and went somewhere else. I'm sure she's fine. So William calls the medical assistant and says, look, her car's here, her stuff's here, but she's not here. I don't know what she's doing. I'll let you know if anything comes of it. The assistant said, I really feel like something's off here and we really do need to call the police. And so William would say, you know what? I think that's a good idea too. Let's just get them involved and make sure she's okay. And so they call the police, and the police start by going to Jackie's residence. But Jackie's not there, and there's no sign of her. The neighbors haven't seen her. And so the police go to William's household, and they search Jackie's car, and they search William's house and the surrounding area right outside. But there's really no clues as to what actually happened to Jackie. And so after the police talked to a bunch of neighbors and friends and family, they just told William and this medical assistant that at this point they just need to wait and that hopefully Jackie will just come out of wherever it is she's hiding or wherever she's gone. Maybe she's upset, maybe she was fighting with William and she's run off somewhere, but we just gotta wait and see what happens. 2 days later, Jackie was still unaccounted for. No one knew where she was, no one had heard from her, no one had seen her, when William's friend went over to his house. William, the day before, so 24 hours after Jackie had been reported missing, he had left the country on a prearranged trip, but he was not being looked at as a potential suspect or having anything to do with Jackie's disappearance, and so he was allowed to go. And so this friend had been asked to go to his property to feed his fish. And so he shows up on Saturday, that's 48 hours after Jackie has been reported missing. He goes inside the house and immediately he's hit with this terrible smell inside of William's house. So he's covering his face and he's walking around the house trying to figure out where the smell is coming from. He thinks it could be the fridge, maybe something's rotting that's fallen out or the door's open or something, but it's not the fridge. He goes to the trash, it's not the trash. He goes to the fish, it's not the fish. He makes his way over to the fireplace and he realizes that's where the smell is coming from. And so kind of reluctantly, he gets down and he kind of smells inside the fireplace, but it's not really coming from the area where the logs would be. It's coming from up in the chimney flue. And so he puts his head down and kind of turns and looks up the chimney, and about 2 feet up the flue, dangling down, are 2 human legs, and they would be Jackie's legs. It would turn out a few days earlier, when Jackie was at that restaurant drinking by herself, she did call that ride service to come give her a ride home, presumably because she was too intoxicated to drive. But before they showed up, Jackie just got into her car anyways and drove to her estranged boyfriend's house. And so she gets there. William, meanwhile, is sneaking. In February of 2019, a young man named Austin and his family moved to Houston, Texas. As soon as they arrived and they had their stuff pulled off the vehicles, Austin went out looking for a job. Because he was brand new to the area and his family was really tight on cash, he started looking for jobs that people didn't necessarily want, the types of jobs that would hire him really quickly. And luckily, 5 minutes down the road from his house was a gas station that was looking for someone to take the dreaded 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift. Austin went over there, he applied, and was quickly given the job, and quickly realized how miserable it is to sleep all day and work all night. 3 months later, in May, Austin woke up one evening to get ready for work, and he realized the power was out. So he left his bedroom and headed downstairs where his father was, and he asked him, how long has the power been out? And his dad told him that basically as soon as Austin had come home from his last shift, it had gone out, and the power company says it's going to be a while before it comes back on again. Austin stepped outside onto his front porch underneath the overhang, and it was pouring rain. And in fact, it had been raining when he had come back from his last shift, and looking out at his front yard and the streets, which were all flooded, it was clear it had just not stopped raining. And he's looking around, and all the houses are completely dark, the streetlights are even dark, so this power outage is pretty massive. Austin wasn't sure if he was going to need to go into work that day because of the flooding and the power outage, so he called his manager and he asked her, and she would say that, yes, we do need you to come in, but not for your normal job because the store is without power like everyone else. What we want you to do is just sit inside the store with the doors locked to prevent looting. Feeling a little let down that he still had to work, Austin grabbed a cup of coffee, put on his rain boots and his rain jacket, and ran out to his car. The drive to work was surreal. Not only was it totally dark because there was basically no streetlights on and all the houses are dark, but as Austin was driving, the roads were flooded, but because there was no light, it was very difficult to gauge how deep these puddles were. And on the road, periodically, he would see cars that had miscalculated the depths of these puddles and clearly had gotten stuck, and the driver had just abandoned their vehicle. He described the scene as feeling like something out of a zombie apocalypse movie. Austin finally got to the gas station parking lot, which was slightly elevated, so there was a whole bunch of cars that had been left in the lot, presumably to avoid being flooded. So he pulls into a spot and sees his manager is in the store. She sees him. He hops out of the car. He runs up to the door. She unlocks it. She lets him in. She shuts it and locks it behind him. Austin had never been inside the store without power on. He said what struck him as soon as he walked in was not just that it was totally dark, but it was totally quiet. All the print machines and the cooler and all the kind of ambient sounds were all gone, and it was just totally quiet. He turned to his manager, who was using her phone as a flashlight, and she said to him, look, there's not much for you to do here, so keep the door shut, if you need anything, and if the power comes back on again, open the store as usual. She handed him the keys and left out the front door. He locked the door behind her and then walked over to one of the tables inside, up against the side of the store. When he sat down, he got out his phone to start watching some YouTube videos to kill the time, but he quickly saw that there was no internet service. Figured, well, I guess the power outage must have affected internet providers. And so now, totally bored without the internet, he got up and got a couple energy drinks, and he sat down at this table and just smashed energy drinks and watched the rain. And after about an hour of doing that, he was still really bored, and he thought, I've always wanted to do vlogging, and so why not start vlogging right now? So he gets his phone out and he props it up on the table and he starts recording himself. And so for the next couple of hours, Austin talked into his camera about the storm, about power outage, sports, about movies, about all sorts of things. His intent was not really to create a concise vlog so much as to just stay awake doing something. And it was working. He enjoyed doing it. Then, around 3 a.m., as he's sitting there talking to his camera, you hear the unmistakable sound of someone banging really hard on the inside of the coolers on the other side of the store. And Austin immediately stops talking and turns his head and looks. And he hears it again. Very distinct pounding coming from the other side of the building. At this point, Austin is still looking. He's not even flinching. He's just staring in the direction of the sound. And he turns back to the camera when he hears a third sound that doesn't sound like pounding, but it sounds like something else coming from that side of the room. And after that third sound, he's had enough. He gets up, he walks out of the store, locks it behind him, and gets in his car. He doesn't go back inside the store for the rest of the shift, and when his manager shows up, he honks the horn to get her to come over. And she's like, what are you doing out here? Why aren't you in the store like you're supposed to be? And he just shows her the video. As she's watching the video, she's clearly startled by the footage, and at the end of it, she confesses to Austin that lately, employees have been telling her they're hearing weird banging sounds from the cooler, and that she had gone in there to check if maybe there was an animal or just something that was causing the sound, and she said she couldn't find it. After this, Austin's manager went inside the store and looked around, and there was no one inside, there was no one in the cooler, and she reviewed the footage of inside and outside the store over the past 12 to 24 hours, and the only people that had come near the store were her and Austin. Austin quit his job there 2 weeks later. Here is some of the footage of Austin inside the gas station.
It is pouring. All day it's been pouring. So I went outside to go check, and our street was flooded. And in front of that, in front of his street.
Screw all that noise.
So that's going to do it, guys. If you found the secret in today's episode, let us know in the comments what it is and where you found it. Give us the timestamp. And if you're the first to do that, we'll pin you at the top of the comments section. If you enjoyed today's video and you haven't done this already, please put Icy Hot on the Like Button's deodorant, and then also encourage them to pet your dog because it's so friendly, but in fact your dog isn't friendly. It bites anything that touches it. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly 3, 4, even 5 video uploads. If you want to get in touch with me, you can direct message me on Instagram or on Twitter. My username is the same on both platforms. It's JohnBallin416. I also have a ton of content over on TikTok, and my username is Mr. Ballin. If you have a story suggestion, please submit it to our subreddit. It's called Mr. Ballin. It's linked in the description. So whether I see you on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, or some combination, just know that I really appreciate your support. And until next time, that's going to do it. See you. A woman was viciously harassed for 7 years. When it all came to a head, the police blamed one person, and the victim's family and friends blamed another. And to this day, the internet remains totally divided on whether blame was appropriately placed. But before we get into today's bizarre story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right channel because that's all we do, and we upload 3 or 4 times every week. So if that's of interest to you, please sneak into the Like Button's house and steal the little plastic clip on their vacuum that keeps the cord usually tucked up after use. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly uploads. Alright, let's get into today's story. In June of 1982, 38-year-old Cindy Hack divorced her husband Roy. As soon as she moved into another home in Vancouver, Canada, she felt this wave of relief come over her. Their marriage had become abusive and toxic years ago, but her newfound happiness would be short-lived. Only 4 months after leaving her husband, Cindy's waking nightmare would begin. It all started with a late-night phone call on October 7, 1982. When she answered, the voice on the other side was raspy and angry sounding. It addressed Cindy by name and quickly told her that they planned on hurting her. And before Cindy could do anything, the caller had hung up. Cindy was horrified and didn't know what to do, so she did nothing. And then over the next few days, she received more calls from this phantom caller, and each of them began with this person addressing her by name and then threatening violence. And Cindy began to convince herself that this had to be some terrible prank, and so she continued to do nothing about it. One night, Cindy couldn't help but feel like she was being watched, and she looked into her living room and she noticed one of her windows was still open. At night, she would draw all the curtains in her house. And so she walked over to the window and she pressed her face up against the glass to look outside, and she didn't see anybody out there. And so she drew the curtains, turned around, and began walking back towards the kitchen when the phone rang. She hesitated, but eventually picked the phone up. And on the other side of the call was the mystery caller, who in a mocking tone told her that curtains weren't going to protect her. They knew when she called. This incident pushed her over the edge, and she knew this could not be some bad prank. This was real. And so she contacted the police, who made a house visit, but there wasn't any sign of a break-in or any sign of a crime being committed. And so after walking her property and feeling confident that she was safe, they told her that, you should really consider getting an unlisted telephone number. That way this mystery person can't keep contacting you. And so Cindy thanked them and would go on to get an unlisted telephone number. But not only would the calls continue, they would become more frequent, and in fact, the harassment in general only began to escalate. 3 days later, on October 15th, Cindy and her good friend Agnes were coming back from dinner to Cindy's house. When they got there, they noticed that one of the front windows had been broken, and so they carefully walked onto the porch and realized the front door was actually unlocked and slightly ajar. They considered immediately leaving the property and just calling police, but they sat there for a minute and didn't hear anything inside the house, and so they decided they would just poke their head in and investigate. So when they went inside, all the lights were off and there was no sign of disturbance. It was totally quiet. But when they went upstairs, they found feathers all over the hall. And they followed those feathers all the way to Cindy's room. And in her room, all of her pillows had been ripped apart. And the key to her front door was laying conspicuously on her bedside table. The women fled the house and called police. But when they showed up, there really wasn't much they could do, despite knowing about Cindy's threatening phone calls she was getting. There was just no clear sign of who broke into her house and cut up her pillows. And so they told her that the best thing she can do is change her locks, make sure everything in her house stays locked at all times when she's home, and if she notices anything out of the ordinary, to call them. Over the following few days, Cindy got more threatening phone calls and began waking up to threatening notes laying on her front porch that had been made from newspaper and magazine clippings. This led to the police launching a larger investigation into the matter. An officer named Pat McBride, who had been on the force for 8 years, began checking in on Cindy almost daily. And very quickly, Pat and Cindy developed a romantic relationship, and Pat actually moved into Cindy's house while he was investigating this case. As soon as Pat moved in, the harassment seemed to stop. But just a couple of weeks later, in early November, Pat woke up one morning at Cindy's house and discovered that her phone lines were dead. When he went outside to investigate, he discovered that the lines had actually been cut, and he found a pair of wire cutters laying on the ground. Over the following month, in addition to the threatening phone calls and notes left on the porch, Cindy began hearing somebody walking around outside her house at night, but she was always too terrified to go to the window and look outside to see who it was. She began finding raw meat sitting outside of her door in the morning, and she would find pictures of dead bodies tucked under her windshield wiper on her car. One day, she walked into her backyard and she discovered 3 dead cats hanging in her garden. Cindy, who was a bubbly, happy person before the harassment started, had become a totally anxious and paranoid. But despite her obvious distress, the local police were starting to doubt her claims that this stalker was even real. Every time she called them claiming stalker activity, they would go to her house and look around, but they could never find any evidence to suggest that anyone between her friend, or her boyfriend was them. And speaking of her boyfriend, police officer Pat McBride, he would tell his coworkers that he was never home when the stalker called, and he never heard anybody walking around outside of the house. He said the only reason he knew about these things is because Cindy told him after the fact. Upset that the police were not taking her seriously, Cindy broke up with Pat and decided she needed to move and start over in New York. Just days before Cindy was supposed to relocate, her friend Agnes stopped by. She went to the front door and knocked, and when she didn't answer, she walked around to the back and she found her friend crouched down behind the stairs as if she was hiding from something. She ran over to her and noticed she had this black nylon stocking wrapped tightly around her neck, but Cindy seemed to be totally unfazed by it and just kept looking out towards her shed. And so Agnes runs over to Cindy and says, "Cindy, what are you doing? What's on your neck?" And Cindy turned to look at her and her eyes were super wide and she panicked, and she told Agnes that just minutes ago she had been walking out to her shed to get something when a man leapt out of the shadows and wrapped this nylon around her neck and began choking her, and threatened that if she turned around to look at him, he would attack her family. So Cindy and this man struggled for a minute until Agnes's car approached, which spooked the man and he ran off. Agnes was shocked and she grabbed her friend and picked her up. She pulled the nylon off her neck and the two of them ran inside and locked all the doors and windows. And then at that point, Cindy called the police. But when the police showed up, the only evidence of this attack was Cindy's first-hand account and this nylon stocking. But the police believed the nylon stocking was Cindy's and she'd staged the whole event and she'd tied it around her neck herself. A few days later, in January of 1983, Cindy moved into a new home in a town called Richmond, which is a suburb of Vancouver, Canada. And as soon as she got there, she painted her car a new color and she actually changed her last name to James. For months, she didn't see or hear from her stalker, but in October of that year, she found another dead cat on her property with a note next to it that just said, "Your next." Fearing for her life, she called the Richmond police who set up a surveillance operation on her property. But for months, despite dozens of officers watching her house at practically all hours, they never, ever saw any stalker activity. But as soon as the officers left, for any amount of time, when there was a gap in surveillance, Cindy would call the police and report activity. In time, this town police department also began to suspect that Cindy was fabricating the stalker story. Now, blatantly knowing the police were not taking her seriously, Cindy hired a local private detective named Ozzy Savon to look into her case. Immediately, he installed floodlights all around her property, and he gave her a two-way radio to place inside of her house that constantly broadcast back to Ozzy. That way, if she was in trouble, he would know about it, even if she couldn't get to the radio to actually tell him. He also installed a panic button inside of her house that would send an alarm to him as well as to the police. In January of 1984, after only being on the case for a couple of weeks, Ozzy heard some strange sounds coming across the two-way radio. It sounded like there was some sort of struggle happening in Cindy's house, and so he tried radioing her to ask what was going on, but he didn't get a response. And so he flew over to her house, he knocked on the door, but there was no answer, and so he kicked the door down and found Cindy lying in the hallway motionless with a note on top of her hand that was held in place by a paring knife that had been stabbed through the note and then through her hand. The note said, "You're dead, lady." Cindy also had a black nylon stocking wrapped around her. And so initially, Ozzy believed Cindy was dead, but he managed to find the cause. He brought her to the hospital, and when she regained consciousness, all she could recall was feeling someone inject her arm with a needle, and then after that, she had no memory of the attack. The police, believing Cindy had staged the attack, did not bother to take fingerprints at her home or on the knife or on the knife. Ozzy, on the other hand, believed his client was telling the truth. He didn't believe Cindy was physically capable of injecting herself in the area where the needle had entered her body. The angle was nearly impossible to achieve on her own. Once she was released from the hospital, the police, despite believing she was lying, continued their surveillance operations on the property. But like always, nothing ever happened when any of the officers were due. The stalker only was reported after they left. Life went on like this for over a year, and during that time, Cindy's mental health continued to decline rapidly. She lived in constant fear of the stalker, and she was deeply embarrassed that the police believed she was lying. On December 11th, 1985, Cindy was attacked again. The details on this are incredibly scant. Someone found her lying in a ditch 6 miles away from her home. She was wearing a single work boot and a single glove. She was suffering from hypothermia, and she had cuts and bruises all over her body, and she had a black nylon stocking wrapped around her neck. She had no memory of the attack. The police told her that they believed this was yet another staged event, and so they did not do any significant follow-up. After a few days in the hospital, she was sent home, but she was terrified to be alone. So she reached out to her friend Agnes and asked if she and her husband Tom would stay with her for a couple of days, and they agreed. The first night they were there, Cindy woke up in the middle of the night and heard strange sounds coming from the basement. She woke up Agnes and Tom, and they heard the sounds too, and so they went down to the first floor, they opened up the door to the basement, and they looked downstairs, and very clearly there was a fire raging in her basement. And so Cindy immediately ran to the phone to call 911, but they discovered the phone lines had been cut. And so Tom ran outside to try to find a neighbor who called 911 for them. And when he went outside, he found a man standing there in front of the house watching him. And Tom yelled to him, "Hey, you need to call 911, this house is on fire." And this man, without saying a word, just turned and ran down the street. And that man was never identified. Finally, Tom did get a neighbor to call 911. The fire department arrived and they put out the fire. And then after an investigation, they determined that the fire had been set intentionally. This was arson. And the police said there was no signs of forced entry anywhere around the house, which means someone who was already in the house had to have started the fire. And they specifically said Cindy had to start the fire because she stages these events all the time because of this stalker delusion she has. Agnes and Tom denied this claim, saying they never heard Cindy walking around at night, and she would never jeopardize their lives. After this event, Cindy became extremely depressed and had to be hospitalized, and for 10 weeks she was under intense psychiatric care. But at the end of those 10 weeks, the doctors determined that she was not a threat to herself or to anyone else, and so she was sent home. It was at this time that Cindy went to the police and said that she thinks Roy, her ex-husband, was behind all of the attacks. Police immediately brought Roy into questioning, and he emphatically denied all allegations, saying he had nothing to do with it, and in fact, he had been the victim of this stalker that was going after his ex-wife. He said he got a number of these threatening phone calls, and one time when they called, they left him a voicemail, and he played it for the police. After speaking with Roy and confirming his various alibis, the police ruled him out as a suspect. For the next 3.5 years, Cindy continued to receive threatening phone calls and messages at his house, but no one besides Cindy ever saw this stuff happen live. While her private investigator, Ozzy, still believed every bit of her story, the Richmond Police Department had been tired of her and stopped her. On the evening of May 25th, Agnes showed up at Cindy's house with her sketches and fridge. When she knocked on the door, there was no answer. Because Agnes and Cindy were very close, Agnes tried the front door, it was unlocked, so she let herself in, thinking Cindy must be upstairs taking a shower. But when she stepped inside, the house was totally silent. And after a couple of minutes of no commotion upstairs, Agnes began searching the house for her friend, and discovered that Cindy wasn't there. The police launched a search and very quickly found Cindy's car in the parking lot of the local supermarket. And when investigators went over the car, they discovered there was blood on the outside of the driver's side door. The contents of Cindy's purse, including credit cards and ID, were scattered about on the ground near the car. And then in the trunk of the vehicle were the groceries that Cindy had recently purchased. But despite her car being found, there was really no indication of where she went next. Her friends and family believed she had been kidnapped by her stalker, and the police believed she was staging yet another event. But regardless, no one could find her. 2 weeks after her disappearance, and 1.5 miles away from where the car had been found, a road worker had drank too much coffee and needed to use the bathroom. But where they were working, they did not have a portage on, and they were not near any local businesses that might offer public restrooms. The only area that offered any privacy was the abandoned building that was right near their work site. And so this worker told his crew where he was headed. He turned and began walking across the totally overgrown front yard of this property. And as he began walking around the side of this building, he smelled this horrific smell, like one of the worst smells he'd ever smelled in his life. And he assumed that because this property was abandoned, maybe people were dumping their trash on it somewhere, and it's a hot day, and that's why it smells. But either way, he wrote it off. He walked around to the back of this building. He found a good spot to relieve himself. He turned around and began walking back along the side to go back to the road when he stopped. Then he saw something lying near the side of the house that he was surprised he hadn't noticed on his way in. He couldn't really see what it was because the tall grass was obscuring his view, and so he took a couple steps forward to get a better look, and when he could see clearly what it was, he stopped. Laying in front of him was a clearly deceased woman laying on her side with her hands and feet bound behind her back, and around her neck was a black nylon stocking. The body of Cindy James. Despite the nylon around her neck, the autopsy revealed she did not die from strangulation. She died from an overdose of morphine and other drugs. The police brought in a not expert who was easily able to put himself in the same position that Cindy was in and tie himself up. With this information, combined with their belief that Cindy was a pathological liar, they concluded that this had to have been self-inflicted, that she injected herself with a lethal dose and then dropped down to the ground and tied herself up to stage the epic conclusion to this stalker delusion. To cover their bases, the police did re-interview Roy, the ex-husband, but his alibi checked out, and realistically, he was never actually a suspect. It's not listed online whether Pat McBride, the police officer ex-boyfriend, was ever investigated. While the police were very confident in their theory of what happened to Cindy, there were some discrepancies. The medical examiner did not agree with the ruling that this was suicide. He said that you can't conclude that. There's not enough evidence. During the autopsy, it was discovered that Cindy did have an injection mark in her arm, but they could never find the needle anywhere near her body or anywhere between her and her parked car. Considering the extremely high dosage of narcotic that was found in Cindy's system, if this had been a suicide, As soon as she injected herself, she would have had to immediately shift gears, get down on the ground, and start hog-tying herself before she became too intoxicated to function, meaning the needle should have been right around where she was found. But it wasn't. Also missing from the crime scene were Cindy's shoes and socks, and interestingly, her bare feet were totally clean, despite the fact that in order to get where she was found, she would have had to cover a distance of at least 1.5 miles from her parked car. But again, there was no dirt or any markings on the underside of her feet. Also, it was strange that she wasn't discovered faster than 2 weeks. Although she was found near this abandoned house that was totally overgrown, the house was actually frequented by teenagers, and there was a walking trail nearby that would have had a line of sight on her body. These discrepancies have led many people to believe that Cindy did have a stalker, and this stalker kidnapped her in the supermarket parking lot, tied her up, and injected her with lethal doses of morphine, and then after she died, they dumped her near this abandoned property right before she was found. And they had left that black nylon tied around her neck because that was the stalker's signature. Some have taken this a step further and said Pat McBride, the police officer, was behind the attacks, because he would have known when surveillance was set up on the house and could have very easily avoided detection. But the most bizarre and fascinating theory of what happened to Cindy is that she had dissociative identity disorder, or DID. This is where someone maintains at least 2 distinct personalities, and when one of those personalities is active, the other kind of fades and has no memory of this experience, creating these huge memory gaps. And so the theory goes, one of Cindy's personalities was effectively stalking herself. Or more specifically, one of her personalities hated herself and wanted to do herself harm. And so that personality would do things like stab her own hand or run 6 miles away into some ditch and leave herself for dead. And then Cindy's other personality would take back over, and she would suddenly come to having no memory of how she became injured or how she wound up in the ditch. And so when she went to the police to tell them that someone is stalking and harassing and attacking her, she was telling the truth. But that someone, that stalker, was actually her. She just didn't know it. But Roy, her ex-husband, was a psychiatrist. And in their 16 years of marriage, he never noticed this condition. And when Cindy was in that psychiatric ward for 10 weeks following one of her stalker attacks, none of the doctors or psychiatrists ever noticed or diagnosed her with this condition. It's still possible she had DID, and it just came on later in life, and it didn't present itself enough to be noticed during those 10 weeks of psychiatric care. But realistically, this reduces the chances of DID being behind this whole thing. To date, her death is still considered a suicide, and no one has ever been charged in connection with her death. So that's going to do it, guys. If you found the secret in today's episode, let us know in the comments what it is and where you found it. And if you're the first to do that, we will pin you at the top of the comments section. If you enjoyed today's video and you haven't done this already, please sneak into the like button's house and steal the little plastic clip on their vacuum that keeps the cord nicely tucked up after use. Also, please subscribe to our channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of our weekly 3 or 4 video uploads. If you want to get in touch with me, you can direct message me on Instagram or on Twitter. My username for both platforms is the same. It's John Ballin 414. I also have a ton of content over on TikTok where my username is Mr. Ballin. I also have a second YouTube channel called Mr. Ballin Shorts where I post short videos. If you have a story suggestion, please submit it to our subreddit called Mr. Ballin. It's linked in the description below. So whether I see you on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, or some combination, just know that I really appreciate your support, and until next time, that's going to do it. See ya.
You'd be forgiven for looking at the Route 66 State Park as just another quiet plot of land in eastern Missouri. Located off of exit 265 on Interstate 44, the park's 419 acres provide plenty of trails for hiking, cycling, and even fishing on the Merrimack River. The park's visitor center, a former roadhouse, is filled with plenty of vintage Route 66 memorabilia, showcasing the former beauty of the buildings and towns that once graced the roadways of the state from the 1930s to the 1960s. On the surface, all seems fairly straightforward. Tucked away in that simple visitor center's museum is a small plaque, vaguely commemorating one of America's greatest triumphs over environmental disaster in a place called Times Beach. Yet, strangely, this supposed town is nowhere to be found in the surrounding 419 acres, because Times Beach is a ghost town. And to know the story, you must first turn the clock back almost 100 years. The town of Times Beach was founded in 1925 by, of all things, a newspaper, the St. Louis Star-Times. The publication owned a large plot of land along the Merrimack River and decided to sell lots meant for summer homes packaged with a 6-month subscription of the paper for the low price of $67.50. This bargain was an attempt at creating a resort town near St. Louis and society. This was a financial waiting to ensure the St. Louis Star-Times economic survival ended in decades. For a while, things worked, but a combination of factors, including the socioeconomic state of Missouri after the Great Depression, and the fact that the town was built in a floodplain, spelled an almost certain end to the high hopes of the town's founders. By June of 1951, the Star-Times went out of print, and the dream of Times Beach began to fade, so that by 1970, the town had morphed into a suburb of mostly low-income housing, with a population of only about 1,200. To call the town poor was an understatement. Unable to secure enough funding for infrastructure, its 23 miles of roads and streets went unpaved, resulting in constant and unbearable dust during summer months. In order to combat it, various neighbors hired a man from Ellisville named Russell Bliss to spray a layer of oil onto the dirt roads. Bliss ran a company that disposed of waste oil, and as a side gig, he would occasionally spray this material to treat unpaved streets. This crude method kept the dust from rising and was an affordable solution for an annoying problem. Bliss gladly agreed to treat various dust-filled neighborhoods for a small fee. By 1972, he had become so widely used by the town's residents that the city officially contracted with him to spray at will throughout the entire town for the next 2 years. But unbeknownst to the residents of Times Beach, a terrible truth lay behind Bliss's oil, a tale of shady bureaucracy and dangerous government dealings. 3.5 hours away from Times Beach sat the town of Verona, Missouri, and in it a chemical facility owned by the company Hoffman Taff. Hoffman Taff was, among other things, contracted by the United
Hey, I got a lot of good ideas. Balance the stupid fucking budget. Here's another idea. I'm gonna save you a whole lot of money on prisons, but at the same time, we are still going to remove from society many of our more annoying citizens. 4 groups are going away permanently. First group, violent criminals. Here's what you do with these Emmy Award winners. You take the entire state of Kansas. You move everybody out. You give them a couple of $100 for their inconvenience, you know. Gotta be fair. And then you move them out, you put a big 10-story electric fence around Kansas, and Kansas becomes a permanent prison farm for violent criminals. No parole, no police, no supplies. The only thing you give them is lethal weapons and live ammunition so they can communicate in a meaningful way. Then you put the whole thing on cable TV. The Violence Network, VNN. And for a corporate sponsor, you get one of those companies that loves to smear its logo feces all over the landscape. Budweiser will jump at this shit in half a minute. All right, next group, sex criminals. Completely incurable, you gotta lock them up. You could outlaw religion and most of these sex crimes would disappear in a couple of generations. But we don't have time for rational solutions. Much easier to fence off another rectangular state. Rectangular states are cheaper to fence, saves the taxpayers money, you know? This time, Wyoming. But only for true sex offenders. We're not going to bother consenting adults who like to dress up in leather Boy Scout uniforms and smash each other in the head with ball-peen hammers while they take turns blowing their cat. There's certainly nothing wrong with that. It's a victimless hobby. And think of how good the cat must feel. No, we're only going to lock up rapists and molesters. Those hopeless romantics who are so full of love they can't help getting a little of it on you. Usually on your leg. You take all these heavy-breathing fun seekers and you stick them in Wyoming. And you let them suck, fuck, and fondle. You let them blow, chew, sniff, lick, whip, gobble, and cornhole each other until their testicles are whistling, "Oh, come all ye faithful." Then you turn on the cameras and you got the Sperm Channel. And don't forget our corporate sponsor. We're going to let Budweiser put little logo patches on the rapist pants right here. This pud's for you. All right, next group, drug addicts and alcoholics. Not all of them, don't get nervous. Just the ones who are making life difficult for at least one other person. And we're not going to bother first offenders. People deserve a chance to clean up. Everyone will get 12 chances to clean up. Okay, all right, 15. That's fine, and that's it. If you can't make it in 15 tries, off you go to Colorado. A perfect place for staying loaded. Each week, all of the illegal drugs confiscated in the United States that the police and DEA don't keep for their own personal use will be airdropped into Colorado. And we're going to turn the Coors Brewery over to the beer-drinking assholes, and everyone can stay wasted, wired, stoned, bombed, hammered, smashed, and shit-faced round the clock on another new cable channel, Shit-Faced Central. This is the real Rocky Mountain High. Okay, I saved my favorite group for last. The maniacs and crazy people. The ones who live out where the buses don't run. And I distinguish between maniacs and crazy people. A maniac will beat 9 people to death with a steel dildo. A crazy person will beat 9 people to death with a steel dildo, but he'll be wearing a Bugs Bunny suit at the time. So you can't put them all away. You know, you gotta keep some of them around just for the entertainment. Like a guy who tells you the King of Sweden is using his penis as a radio transmitter to send anti-Semitic lesbian meatloaf recipes to Soupy Sales and Marvin Hamlish. A guy like that, you want to give him his own radio show. No, the Maniac Farm will be reserved strictly for hopeless cases, like a guy who gets a big tattoo on his chest of Liza Minnelli taking a shit. You know? And he tells you if he wiggles a certain way, it looks like she's wiping her ass, you know? A guy like that, you want to get him into custody as quickly as possible. Now, for the Maniac Farm, I think there's no question you gotta go with Utah. Utah, easy to fence, right next to Wyoming and Colorado, and Colorado is right next to Kansas, and that means all 4 groups of our most amusing citizens are now in one place, except for the big fences. And I think I have another one of my really good ideas for cable TV. Gates. Small sliding gates in the fences. Think of what you got here. Think of what you got. Predators, degenerates, crackheads, and fruitcakes. 900 miles of fence separating them. Every 50 miles, you put a small sliding gate. But The gates are only 10 inches wide, and they're only open once a month for 7 seconds. And you know something? Fuck cable. This shit has got to be on pay-per-view. Because if those gates are only open 7 seconds a month, you are going to have some mighty interesting people pushing and shoving to be first online. Deeply disturbed, armed, cranky lunatics on drugs. You know the one. A lot of tattoos, a lot of teeth broken off at the gum line. The true face of America. And every time you open the gates, a few of the more aggressive ones are going to get through. The creme de la creme. The alphas. They're going to get through, they're going to find each other, and they're going to cause boom. And pretty soon you have a melting pot. Child killers, corpse fuckers, drug zombies, and full-blown wackaloons. Wandering the landscape in search of truth and fun. Just like now. Everyone will have guns, everyone will have drugs, no one will be in charge. Just like now. But at least you'll have a balanced budget.
Our first guest is a veteran stand-up comedian, or as we say in Indiana, veteran. And this Sunday, his first television series
that we have in common with other species, other primates, and other life forms, and find out where in Africa you came from. But there came a time, probably about 180,000 years ago, when, due to a terrible climatic event, probably in Indonesia, an appalling global warming crisis occurred. And the estimate is that the number of humans in Africa went down to between 40 and 30,000. This close, think about fine-tuning, this close to joining every other species that had gone extinct. And that's our Exodus story. And somehow we don't know how, but it's not written in any scripture, it's not told in any book, it's not part of any superstitious narrative, but somehow the escape from Africa to cooler latitudes was made. But that's how close it was. You have to be able to imagine that all this mass extinction and death and randomness is the will of a being. You are absolutely free to believe that if you wish. And all of this should happen so that one very imperfect race of evolved primates should have the opportunity to become Christians or to turn up at this gym tonight. But all of that was done with us in view. It's a curious kind of solipsism. It's a curious kind of self-centeredness. I was always brought up to believe that Christians were modest and humble and comported themselves with due humility. And there's a certain arrogance to this assumption that all of this extraordinary development was all about us. And we were the intended and designed result, and everything else was in the discard. The tremendous wastefulness of it, the tremendous cruelty of it, the tremendous caprice of it, the tremendous tinkering and incompetence of it, never mind. At least we're here, and we can be people of faith. It doesn't work for me, I have to simply say that, and I think there may be questions of psychology involved in this as well. Believe it if you can. I can't stop you. Believe it if you like. You're welcome. It's obviously impossible, as I said before, to disbelieve, and it equally obviously helps you to believe it if, as we all are, you're in the happy position of knowing the outcome. In other words, we are here, but there's a fallacy lurking in there somewhere too. Is there not? Now, it's often said, it was said tonight, and Dr. Craig said it in print, that atheists think they can prove the non-existence of God. This, in fact, very slightly but crucially misrepresents what we've always said. There's nothing new about the new atheists, it's just we're recent. There's nothing particularly new. Dr. Victor Stenger, a great scientist, has written a book called The Failed Hypothesis, which he says he thinks that science can now license the claim that there definitely is no God. But he's unique in that, and I think very bold and courageous. Here's what we argue. We argue quite simply that there's no plausible or convincing reason, certainly no evidential one, to believe that there is such an entity, and that all observable phenomena, including the cosmological one to which I'm coming, are explicable without the hypothesis. You don't need the assumption. And this objection itself, our school falls into at least 2, perhaps 3 sections. There's no such thing, no such word, though there should be, as adeism, or as being an adeist, but if there was one, I would say that's what I was. I don't believe that we are here as the result of a design, or that by making the appropriate propitiations and adopting the appropriate postures and following the appropriate rituals, we can overcome death. I don't believe that, and for a priori reasons, don't. If there was such a force, which I cannot prove by definition that there was not, if there was an entity that was responsible for the beginning of the cosmos, and that also happened to be busily engineering the very laborious production of life on our little planet, it still wouldn't prove that this entity cared about us, answered prayers, cared what church we went to, or whether we went to one at all, cared who we had sex with, or in what position, or by what means, cared what we ate, or on what day, cared whether we lived or died. There's no reason at all why this entity isn't completely indifferent to us. You cannot get from deism to theism except by a series of extraordinarily generous to yourself assumptions. The deist has all his work still ahead of him to show that it leads to revelation, to redemption, to salvation, or to suspensions of the natural order, in which hitherto you've been putting all your faith, all your evidences on scientific and natural evidence, or why not, for a change of pace and a change of taste, say yes, but sometimes this same natural order, which is so miraculous in observation, no question about it, is so impressive in its favouring the conditions for life in some ways. But it's randomly suspended where miracles are. So with caprice and contempt, these laws turn out not to be so important after all, as long as the truth of religion can be proved by their being rendered inoperative. This is having it both ways in the most promiscuous and exorbitant manner in my submission. Bear in mind also that these are not precisely the differences between Dr. Craig and myself, I mean, morally or intellectually equivalent claims. After all, Dr. Craig, to win this argument, has to believe and prove to a certainty. He's not just saying there might be a God, because he has to say there must be one, otherwise we couldn't be here and there couldn't be morality. It's not a contingency for him. I have to say that I appear as a skeptic who believes that doubt is the great engine, the great fuel of all inquiry, all discovery, and all innovation, and that I doubt these things. The disadvantage, it seems to me, in the argument goes to the person who says, no, I know it, it must be true, it is true. We're too early in the study of physics and biology, it seems to me, to be dealing in certainties of that kind, especially when the stakes are so high. It seems to me, to put it in a condensed form, extraordinary claims, such as the existence of a divine power with a son who cares enough to come and redeem us, extraordinary claims require truly extraordinary evidence. I don't think any of the evidence we heard from Dr. Craig, brilliantly marshalled as it was extraordinary enough to justify the extreme claims that are being made of backbone. Hypocrisy, said La Rochefoucauld, is the compliment that vice pays to virtue. Retrospective evidentialism strikes me in something of the same sort of light. It's a concession made to the need for fact. Maybe we better have some evidence to go along with our faith. But look at what Dr. Craig says in his book. He says, I'll quote directly, he says, should a conflict arise between the witness of the Holy Spirit to the fundamental truth of the Christian faith and beliefs based on argument and evidence, then it is the former which must take precedence over the latter. He adds not vice versa, but a good editor, I think, would have told you, you don't have to put the vice versa in. It's clear enough as it is. I'll say it again. Should a conflict arise between the witness of the Holy Spirit to the fundamental truth of the Christian faith and beliefs based on argument and evidence, then it's the former which must take precedence over the latter. That's not evidentialism. That's just faith. It's a priori belief. It's rephrased in another edition. It says, therefore, the role of rational argumentation in knowing Christianity to be true is the role of the servant. A person knows Christianity is true because the Holy Spirit tells him it is true. And while argument and evidence can be used to support this conclusion, they cannot legitimately roulette. Now, and then he goes on to say the Bible says all men are without excuse. Even those who are given no reason to believe, and many persuasive reasons to disbelieve, have no excuse. Because the ultimate reason they do not believe is that they have deliberately rejected God's Holy Spirit. That would have to be me. But you see where this lands you, ladies and gentlemen, with the Christian apologetic. You're told you're a miserable sinner who is without excuse. You've disappointed your God who made you, and you've been so ungrateful as to rebel. You're contemptible, you're worm-like, but you can take heart. The whole universe was designed with just you in mind. These two claims are not just mutually exclusive, but I think they're intended to compensate each other's cruelty and ultimately absurdity. In other words, evidence is an occasional convenience. Seek and ye shall find. I remember being told that in church many a time as a young lad. Seek and ye shall find. I thought it was a sinister injunction, because it's all too likely to be true. We are pattern-seeking mammals and primates. If we can't get good evidence, we'll go for junk evidence. If we can't get a real theory, we'll go with a conspiracy theory. You see it all the time. Religion's great strength is that it was the first of our attempts to explain reality, to make those patterns take some kind of form. It deserves credit. It was our first attempt at astronomy, our first attempt at cosmology, in some ways our first attempt at medicine, our first attempt at literature, our first attempt at philosophy. Good. While there was nothing else, it had many functional uses of that kind. Never mind that they didn't know that germs cause disease, maybe evil spirits cause disease, maybe disease is a punishment. Never mind that they believed in astrology rather than astronomy. Even Thomas Aquinas believed in astronomy. Never mind that they believed in devils. Never mind that things like volcanic eruptions, earthquakes, tidal waves were thought of as punishments, not as natural occurrences on the cooling crust of a planet. The pattern seeking has gone too far. And it's gone, I think, much too far with what was until recently thought of as Christianity's greatest failure, greatest of all failures, cosmology. The one thing Christianity knew nothing about and taught the most abject nonsense about. For most of its lifetime, Christianity taught that the earth itself was the center of the universe, and we had been given exclusive dominion as a species over it. Could not have been more wrong. How are we going to square the new cosmology, the fantastic new discoveries in physics with the old dogmas? Well, one is the idea of this fine-tuning, about which I've only left myself 3.5 minutes. I'll have to refer some of this to later in the discussion. This is essentially another form of pattern seeking on the basis of extremely limited evidence. Most physicists are very uncertain, as they have every right to be. In fact, I would say, for physicists, that as they have the duty to be at the moment, extremely uncertain about the spatio-temporal dimensions of the original episode, the Big Bang as it's sometimes called. We're in the very, very early stages of this inquiry. We hardly know what we don't know about the origins of the universe. We're viewing it from an unimaginable distance, not just an unimaginable distance in space, with perched on a tiny rock in an extremely small suburb of a fairly minor galaxy, trying to look to discern our origins, but also an unbelievable distance in time. And we claim the right to say, we can see the finger of God in this process. It's an extraordinarily arrogant assumption. It either deserves a Nobel Prize in physics, which it hasn't yet got, I notice. I don't know any physicist who believes these assumptions are necessary, or it deserves a charge of hubris. Let me make 3 tiny, quick objections to it as it stands, and I'm no more a physicist than most of you are. I'll make these lay objections. One, was there pre-existing material for this extra spatio-temporal being to work with? Or did he just will it into existence, the ex nihilo? Who designed the designer? Don't you run the risk with the presumption of a god and a designer and an originator of asking, well, where does that come from, where does that come from, and locking yourself into an infinite regress? Why are there so many shooting stars, collapsed suns, failed galaxies we can see? We can see with the aid of a telescope, sometimes we can see with the naked eye. The utter failure, the total destruction of gigantic, unimaginable sweeps of outer space. Is this fine-tuning, or is it extremely random, capricious, cruel, mysterious, and incompetent? And have you thought of the nothingness that's coming? We know we have something now. And we speculate about what it might come from, and there's a real question about X9 But the 9 is coming to us. In the night sky, you can already see the Andromeda Galaxy is heading straight for ours on a collision course. Is that part of a design? Was it fine-tuned to do that? We know that from the red light shift of the Hubble telescope, or rather Edwin Hubble's original discovery, the universe is expanding away from itself at a tremendous rate. It was thought that rate would go down for Newtonian reasons. No, it's recently been proved by Professor Lawrence Krauss the rate of expansion is increasing. Everything is exploding away even faster. Nothingness is certainly coming. Who designed that? And that's all if before these things happen, we don't have the destruction of our own little solar system, in which already there's only one planet where anything like life can possibly be supported. All the other planets are too hot or too cold to support any life at all, and the sun is due to swell up, burn us to a crisp, boil our oceans and die, as we've seen all the other suns do in the night sky. This is not fine-tuning, ladies and gentlemen. And if it's the work of a designer, then there's an indictment to which that designer may have to be subjected. I'm out of time. I'm very grateful for your kindness and hospitality. Thank you.
Dr. Craig is calling.
You'll remember that in my opening speech, I said I would defend two basic contentions in tonight's debate. First, that there's no good argument that atheism is true. Now, far from being a point of contention tonight, as far as I understood Mr. Hitchens' last speech, he would agree with that first statement, that there is no good argument that atheism is true. He says, I simply don't have any positive reason to believe in God, but he doesn't really give an argument against God's existence. Indeed, he seems to suggest that's impossible. But notice that doesn't prove atheism. That just leaves you with agnosticism, namely, you don't know if there's a God or not. So, at best, you're left merely with agnosticism. We don't see any good reason to think that atheism is true. Now, he did make some remarks about the theory of evolution, which at least insinuated that this was somehow incompatible with theism. And I have 2 points to make about this. First, I think that the theory of biological evolution is simply irrelevant to the truth of Christian theism. Genesis 1 admits all manner of different interpretations, and one is by no means committed to six-day creationism. Howard Van Til, who is a professor at Calvin College, writes, is the concept of special creation required of all persons who trust in the Creator God of Scripture? Most Christians in my acquaintance who are engaged with either scientific or biblical scholarship have concluded that the special creationist picture of the world's formation is not a necessary component of Christian belief. Nor is this a retreat caused by modern science. St. Augustine in the AD 300s, in his commentary on Genesis, pointed out that the days don't need to be taken literally, nor need the creation be a few thousand years ago. Indeed, he suggested that God made the world with certain special potencies that would gradually unfold over time and develop. And this interpretation came 1,500 years before Darwin, so that it is not a forced retreat in the face of modern science. So any doubts that I would have about the theory of biological evolution would be not biblical, but rather scientific. Namely, what it imagines is fantastically improbable. Barrow and Tipler, two physicists, in their book, The Anthropic Cosmological Principle, list 10 steps in the course of human evolution, each of which is so improbable that before it would occur, the sun would have ceased to be a main sequence star and incinerated the Earth. And they calculate the probability of the evolution of the human genome to be somewhere between 4 to the negative 180th power to the 110,000th power, and 4 to the negative 360th power to the 110,000th power. So if evolution did occur on this planet, it was literally a miracle, and therefore evidence for the existence of God. So I don't think this is an argument for atheism. Quite the contrary. It really provides good grounds for thinking that God superintended the process of biological development. So the Christian can be open to the evidence to follow it where it leads. By contrast, as Alvin Plantinga has said, for the naturalist, evolution is the only game in town. No matter how fantastic the odds, no matter how improbable, it's got to be true, because there is no intelligent creator and designer. So in one sense, you've got to feel a little sorry for the atheist. He can't really follow the evidence where it leads. His presuppositions determine the outcome. By contrast, if there is a fine-tuner and creator of the universe, then already in the initial conditions of the Big Bang, you have an elaborately designed universe that permits the evolution and existence of intelligent life. And I think evolution simply layers on more improbability. Now, Mr. Hitchens says, but why did God wait so long, all that waste during this time? Well, that sort of concern with efficiency is only of importance to someone with either limited time or limited resources, or both. But in the case of God, he has both unlimited resources and unlimited time, and therefore it's simply not important to do this in a quick way. Well, now, Mr. Hitchens says, but why did God wait so long before he sent Christ? Human beings have existed for thousands of years on this planet before Christ's coming. Well, what's really crucial here is not the time involved, rather it's the population of the world. The Population Reference Bureau estimates that the number of people who have ever lived on this planet is about 105 billion people. Only 2% of them were born prior to the advent of Christ. Eric Krapes of the Survey Research Center at the University of Michigan's Institute for Social Research says, God's timing couldn't have been more perfect. Christ showed up just before the exponential explosion in the world's population. The Bible says, in the fullness of time, God sent forth his Son. And when Christ came, the nation of Israel had been prepared. The Roman peace dominated the Mediterranean world. It was an age of literacy and learning. The stage was set for the advent of God's Son into the world. And I think in God's providential plan for human history, we see the wisdom of God in orchestrating the development of human life, and then in bringing Christ into the world in the fullness of time. So I don't see that there are any good grounds here for thinking that this provides reason for atheism. Now, what about my arguments for theism? Mr. Hitchens had some general remarks here. He says it's difficult to get from deism to theism. Now, I want to point out that's a false use of these terms. This is simply confused. Deism is a type of theism. Theism is
the Word of God, and that is true, because those are not necessarily one and the same.
It's a book inspired by God, even though God didn't write it himself, but it inspired those that wrote it.
How do you know that?
From the book itself.
Okay, so you're using the book to prove the book. So if I gave you a book that said this book, everything in this book is true, would you accept everything in the book?
It depends on what the book is talking about and the source of the book.
Okay, it depends on the source of the book. But you're accepting the source of the book based on the book. So if I give you a book that says it's written by God and that everything in it is true, would you accept that book?
Who's there? The moon.
If the book has been in existence and is being used by churches that promote and preach about God.
But are we saying here that any old book that says that it's true and that God inspired it, as long as people preach it, it is true and it is from God?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Well, that's what you said. So why then do you believe?
Why?
Well, yeah, because when I asked you before why you believed, you said it was because of the Bible, and that because the Bible was the Word of God, and because you know the Bible is the Word of God because the Bible says so. So now we've ruled out that entire argument. So why do you believe?
That's the book for the church. The Bible is a book used for the church.
I know I was a fundamentalist Christian. I was a Christian for more than 25 years. I'm familiar with the fact that the Bible is the book of the church that you accept. I'm asking, why is that the church that you accept?
They leave me no choice. That's what we believe.
You're made to believe.
Because we're supposed to believe. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to figure out why you believe, and your answer was either the Bible or it's what you're made to believe. Let me try a different question. Why should Tracy believe what you believe?
What I believe is the truth. You should believe is the truth.
I'm in agreement.
Yeah.
And so is Tracy. If it's true, she should believe it. Now, how do we figure out whether or not it's true?
Well, the content of the message. What does the message bring? What does it stand for?
Okay, but you can have, so what is it that you think is true about it that's important?
The Bible talks about peace.
It also talks about war.
But the Bible talks about morality.
It also advocates slavery.
Not really.
Yeah,
Yes, really.
Exodus 21. I've got a whole video covering everything about slavery. It tells you who to enslave, how long you can enslave them, how you have to let your fellow Jews go after 6 years unless you trick them by giving them a family, that you can beat them as long as they don't. And that's not the only immoral thing.
Okay. You know, the thing is, you know, the Bible. You said you were a Christian for a long period.
Yeah.
The Bible has the New Testament and the Old Testament.
Right.
And in the New Testament, all that was changed.
No, it wasn't.
It's not the coming of Christ.
No. The only time slavery is mentioned in the New Testament is in specific instructions for slaves to obey their masters. There's nothing in the New Testament that says slavery is no longer allowed. It says slaves obey your masters.
Yeah, but it was not promoted.
Okay. So, do you think slavery is immoral?
Yes, I think.
Why? Your Bible doesn't. At no point does it say that slavery is immoral. It says the exact opposite. If you were God and you were giving instructions to people, and you as God knew that slavery was immoral, would you write down slavery is immoral, don't own people as property? Or would you write down, you can go ahead and have slaves as long as you do this and this, and you can beat them as long as they don't die? Which of those two would you do if you were God?
Don't keep no slaves.
Okay, so you think that God thinks slavery is immoral, and if God actually wrote the book, he would have said, don't keep slaves. But that's not what happened, is it? So clearly the Bible is not the word of God, and it's not true and not worthy of belief.
Well, I want to give Emeka some points there for saying I would write "Don't own slaves."
Well, my biggest problem is that I can hear him laughing in the background,
Well,
so I'm having a hard time taking him seriously.
Sometimes people have nervous laughter.
I know,
but I'm just saying that if you sincerely, can come right out and say after just a moment of thought, I would say don't own slaves.
Yeah.
That is more than a lot of Christians can say.
Yeah, a lot of them just make excuses for why it's in there.
So you get some points for that one.
Hi, did you read Matthew 5:27 and 28?
Sure, I've read the whole Bible several times.
Okay, do you know what it says there?
Is that the passage about adultery, where it doesn't just have to be physical adultery? If you look at another man's wife with lust, you've committed adultery in your heart?
Exactly. It says, whosoever looketh on a woman to lust after her hath committed adultery with her already in his heart.
Sure.
That's how do you not think that that's a good thing for people to have limits?
You think that's a good thing?
It's called mind control. You're trying to determine what I think and what I don't think. That's one of the stupidest things I could imagine. How can you control or even pretend to control what somebody thinks? And you don't think Jesus looked on a woman without lust? Or any of his disciples?
That's what Jesus said. That is Jesus, what Jesus said right there.
Well, first of all, we'll set aside how you think you know that this is what Jesus said. Second aside, we'll set aside whether or not it matters whether Jesus said it. I don't care who said it. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And so if somebody says, now I will say, if a man looks on a woman lustfully, he's committed adultery in his heart, is absolutely wrong. Because first of all, he's not necessarily married, and adultery is specifically
a lustful or sexual action that extends beyond the bounds of marriage. So as a single person, looking on a woman lustfully isn't adultery. And by the way, I put it to you that almost nobody on the planet outside of arranged marriages would have ever gotten married or had sex if they hadn't looked at someone of the opposite sex lustfully. And finally, why is it a man looking at a woman lustfully? Why isn't it a woman looking at a man lustfully, or a man looking at a man, or a woman looking at a woman? This is a misogynist. Hang on.
If you see a
Andrew,
woman, do you just go rape her right away?
Andrew, I'm going to let you, just let me finish the thought. It's a misogynistic bit of language that is patently absurd. It denies something that is trivial about human nature and the way things actually work, and tries to compound it as sin. Okay? I could care less if somebody wants to call it sin. Now, go ahead.
Well, don't you think it's important to have limits on your sexual desires? Otherwise, everyone would just be raping everyone.
Really? You think people would just run around raping people?
Well, do you just rape someone?
I haven't raped anybody in the last 50 some years.
Yeah, I've never raped anybody, nor have I had the inclination
I've
to.
been an atheist for 20 years, so it's just amazing.
So you know that's you do.
How do you get from it's probably a good thing if people don't run around raping each other to therefore this statement about lustful thoughts is necessarily morally correct? Please make the connection between those two. How do you get from we should have some limits to what we can do to we need to have thought crime legislation? How do you get there?
What limits do atheists have?
Well, what culture? Tell me one culture that doesn't have limits, and it's. I mean, every culture on the face of the earth has limits, and they're not Christian culture. Chinese culture has got limits. Japanese, the most secular country in the world is Japan. They have the lowest rape rate. Denmark, Sweden, they very unreligious places, and they don't have any rape problems. We have much more rape in the United States.
And by the way,
they ever do in Denmark or Sweden.
Religion doesn't seem to be any kind of deterrent to rape. Are you implying that all rapists are non-Christians or non-religious? What about the priests who are raping little boys and little girls?
Where do you get your limits from?
I get my limits from a rational consideration of the consequences of my actions. That's how I determine what's moral. I get it from a foundation that says my actions have an effect on those people around me and theirs have an effect on me. And that if we're going to live cooperatively and share space, we have to recognize that impact. And my freedom to swing my arm ends at their nose. And that I have no right to impose my will over somebody else's will in that type of scenario. That's where I get them from. It's from an understanding.
What's the punishment if you do that then?
I get them
You're just going to die.
Andrew, I get them from an understanding of reality, not an assertion of authority. Now, what was the question?
Well, if you just do all that, let's just say you go out with a gun and you just rape a bunch of people, then you just shoot yourself. What's going to be the punishment for you?
If I go out and rape a bunch of people and shoot myself, what's going to be the punishment for me? I'll be dead.
Yeah.
I'll be dead.
And why?
It's not going to hurt. The bullet's going to go through your head in about a second. There isn't going to be any pain.
That's correct. I'll be dead. Okay, so let's flip the script here. Let's say somebody goes around and rapes and murders somebody, and then after they're done, they get saved. What's the punishment for them?
Oh, the punishment is hell.
No, they got saved.
They got saved.
Are you saying that a rapist can't be saved? See, this is the problem. This is the problem with Christian religion. It establishes unrealistic and irrational and immoral criteria by which to live. And then it creates a loophole so that you don't ever have to be responsible for those actions. No, Andrew, shut up till I'm done. Christianity is not a moral system. It is an immoral system because it specifically says that there aren't necessarily consequences that you're going to have to pay because of a loophole. And what is the loophole? It has nothing to do with how good you are or how morally you act or anything else. It has to do with whether or not you're willing to be a sycophant to an idea. And if you are, then there is now an exception for which you no longer have to suffer a penalty for this. So the idea that secular morality offers no guarantee that people will ever pay for their crimes and their atrocities is not an argument against secular morality, because that is a tenet of Christianity. It is the foundation. The idea that the Christian God is just is directly contradicted by the idea that the Christian God is merciful. Perfect justice and perfect and any mercy are necessarily directly in contradiction, because mercy is a suspension of justice. Do not pretend that your religion is moral and just, and then try to attack my position, which is based on reality, because somebody might rape people, shoot themselves in the head, and then not get punished. That's asinine.
Morality can be viewed in a very practical way. I'd rather not be killed. I'd rather not have my stuff taken. And so I find a bunch of other people who would also rather not be killed and not have their stuff taken. And so we agree that we're not going to kill each other and take each other's stuff, and that we're going to enforce this stuff. The idea that there's no practical benefit to behaving decently is absurd. We are an empathic group, partially, but we also live in communities as a collective. And it's natural to realize that, hey, if I'm going to have to live around all these other people, some compromises are going to have to be made. I don't have the ability or the right to just run around and do whatever I want without considering the consequences to other people. However, where by and large atheist morality may differ from theistic morality, I don't have any objection to somebody doing something, an activity between consenting adults, for example, that doesn't affect anybody outside of that situation if they're enjoying it. Sure you can. Yeah, you definitely can. Slavery is incredibly beneficial to the person who owns the slaves.
Turret plating will fall soon.
Yeah, and that's why, societies for the longest time advocated slavery. It's why the Bible advocates slavery, because the people back then realized, hey, we really benefit from being slaves. But all you have to do to find out where the moral problem lies is talk to a slave who realizes that they're not actually benefiting from this. So that you have over time developed a number of core principles, one of them being this idea of individual freedoms which end when they encroach upon the rights of others. It comes from me. I am the author and decider of what I consider to be moral. There is no need for an external source. I can assess a situation and determine whether or not I think a particular action in that situation is either moral according to my standards or immoral according to my standards. I am the arbiter.
It seems like it's pretty arbitrarily chosen, though, that you would say, like, all people have free equal, equality of freedom or something like that.
I think that's a property of the fact that...
Once you pick that, why not, pick some other rule over it?
Oh, no, it's not true. It's not true, and it's not arbitrary. We didn't just say, let's go ahead and go with freedom for everybody. We learned over the course of millennia which things really are beneficial on the whole, which things encourage progress, societal health. It's not like we flipped a coin and said, yep, we're going to free the black people. That's insane. The use of the word arbitrary and the position that these are things, like we're just picking our morals out of a hat is absolutely insane. This is the result. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I rail against biblical views of ethics on a regular basis. It's because this book includes the best thinking of a bunch of Iron and Bronze Age people who thought it was okay to kill unruly children and to own slaves and to treat people as property and to go in and rape and pillage. This is the best thinking they could come up to. We have improved upon that. We have built upon what's come in the past so that we have a better understanding. The fact that we're so good at it, that it's almost intuitive to know, ooh, what he did is wrong, and we don't have to sit there and think about it, is a testament to how far we've come. If nothing about this is arbitrary, it's not just a, hey, I feel like today I'll give rights to everybody.
Well, I mean, everything it would be like most people want to reduce the amount of suffering in the world. That's like another one that's basically, arbitrarily chosen. Why?
What makes you think that what makes you think that's arbitrary? I would like to. No, hang on.
Limit suffering. Why not increase suffering?
Because.
Or keep suffering the same.
Because. Okay. God, this is so painful. Would you like to suffer more or less?
Less.
There you go. Was that arbitrary or was it based on your preference?
No, that's just based on I'm a mammal and I try to avoid suffering. So like I'm an animal basically.
Okay. You just answered your own question. You just said the exact same thing that we've been saying.
Well, so why would it be? I try to avoid suffering. Why would I want to stop others from suffering? I mean,
Okay.
Because we're all fundamentally the same.
Because we're all very, very similar. In much the same way that you'd like to suffer less, I'd like to suffer less. And we've gotten to this point where you and I can work together to see that we suffer less. It is in your interest, it is in your best interest to assist us in ensuring that everybody suffers less, because guess what? Here's the super thing. You're a part of everybody. You're a part of that set. You're not off by yourself saying, me versus the world, I want to suffer less, screw those people. That doesn't work. We know it doesn't work.
Okay.
Yeah, we tried it.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate the call, Ryan.
Yeah.
Great.
And that I experience some reality which I have to make sense of. So it only makes sense. The only way that I can do that is to use the tools that are most reliable. And evidence and reason, which get folded up into the scientific equation, are the most consistently reliable methods for coming to an understanding about reality. I'm not even aware of any other way of knowing that would qualify, that provides anything that's demonstrable, useful.
I guess you can't really disagree with how much progress science has given us, but I guess at some point you wonder whether the human position, whether we want to leave ourselves in the situation where all we have is making progress on Earth and not getting beyond that.
Okay, let me hit 2 quick points, and I hope I don't forget the second one while I'm doing the first one. It doesn't matter how much progress science has made. It doesn't.
Isn't that when you just use as your justification?
What I did was I was talking about that I consider this the most reasonable course of action because it has proven itself to be over the entire course of history. What I'm saying now is that with regard to kind of what your objection was, how much science is provided for us doesn't matter, because at the beginning we have this question about let me find some explanation for this observation. We'll just say the existence of everything. Without science, I'm not in the position that other answers or other explanations have become more likely. I'm in the position of I don't know. I'm in a non-position. I have no good way of determining what the answer to that is. It's afterwards, after we get to this point where we have science and reason and we have a good foundation to build up knowledge and understanding that is consistent and reliable. Okay, now you can say that this method here seems to work all the time. We haven't found any other way of knowing. We haven't found any way to disprove it. So now that ends up working as a foundation. But before that, like let's say there was no scientific explanation for gravity. At the time in existence when there's no explanation, that's it. There's no explanation. It doesn't mean that angels pull the pen to the ground becomes a better explanation than alternate theories. You have no way of discerning which one comes out.
Like it owns respect in some sense, but when we're getting to questions that are almost, you say, beyond that, questions of why is there gravity? Because I mean, we can explain gravity mathematically.
I don't think why questions are valid. There's 2 objections you're making. One is that we're talking about science can't possibly explain the supernatural. I mean, science, just by default, is based on philosophical naturalism. So it can't possibly explain the supernatural. But my thing is, why would anybody think that anything is supernatural? Why would you think that anything supernatural exists? I mean, it's not like there's any evidence for it. So that objection to what science can't do is one thing that I'd pose is, Well, science can't answer this. Yes, but that isn't a real thing. That isn't something that needs an explanation. Until you demonstrate that there's some phenomenon where there's no reason to explain it. I mean, you might as well be saying that science can't tell me why Vargolkrux on this other planet do this. We don't even know anything. We don't know what any of that means or what. There's no there. And this the same. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No,
well,
talk all day.
I guess the thing is, though, you're judging whether something exists on actual evidence.
No. I'm not saying. I'm not making the decision that something doesn't exist. I'm responding to a claim that it does. If you tell me God exists, and I say, okay, great. What reason do you have to think that God exists? And if you can't present a convincing evidence argument for the claim, then I reject it. That's very different from accepting the contrary claim that gods don't exist. I do happen to accept that myself, but that's for different reasons, and it's a different position. There's theism, and then atheism is everything that's not theism. And that includes agnosticism in the colloquial sense and anti-theism or strong atheism. So I'm not... What you believe there's a God. Why?
Oh, well, so all the sorts of evidence I would give, you would reject. So I personally have not had any supernatural experience, but many
so why do you find if you know that I'd reject that evidence, and I don't know, maybe you think that I'm making a mistake and whatever, but why do you find that evidence convincing? If it's enough to convince you, why shouldn't it also convince me?
Well, I think the reason it doesn't convince you is because you've restricted yourself to natural evidence, which you yourself said before.
Right.
It's confined to...
But isn't that justified until somebody presents something that's not natural evidence?
But doesn't it seem like taking your position would keep you from ever accepting any evidence? Because they would say the sorts of evidence I have isn't of the scientific sort. It's not repeatable in the way science accepts.
You still have to make a demonstration that your evidence even exists.
But, well, unfortunately, this sort of evidence, once again, I'm saying I have never felt something like this. This is why I'm figuring and tottering between atheism and theism. But many Christians do say that I've had a personal experience.
Right.
And that's not something you can present to other people.
Absolutely.
It's something a scientist would ever accept.
And
so
I'm fine with that.
I'm sorry?
I'm fine with that. If somebody says that I believe in God because I've had a personal experience, that's great. I haven't had that personal experience, so it doesn't count for me, but I believe that they're justified. And if I had some kind of personal experience that I could, confirm and not dismiss as, something else, I'd be justified in that belief too. I have no problem at all with saying that the individual is justified. But Thomas Paine, who I won't actually quote, made this, or no, it was either Paine or Hume, made the point that revelation is necessarily first person only. Revelation is first person. Everybody else is hearsay.
I like that.
I did too. But yeah, I'm fine with people who believe for that reason. But however, I think you can go to build a logical argument out of that, which is so many people who tell me that they believe for that reason, that they've had a personal experience, will also say, and you can have that personal experience too, and here's all you have to do. And I mean, Ray Comfort does this crap all the time of, all you need to do is hit your knees and pray and be sincere and God will reveal himself to you. Well, you know what? I was a sincere believer for the vast majority of my life. I did believe. I did think I had some experiences kind of like that. I have hit my knees and sincerely asked, and it didn't happen. So the only conclusion I can come to is that either you're lying, you're mistaken, or your God doesn't like me. In any case, there's no reason for me to believe. It's fine for that individual, though.
I think that's a logically acceptable position.
Martin said at the beginning of the show something that I consider to be a pretty harsh generalization when he said that that's basically what religion is, speaking of being something that is selfish and that teaches selfishness. And I think you were referring to the prayer where the farmer, somebody prays and teaches selfish prayer. And, I take issue with that. I think you overgeneralize. I think there's a lot of honest religion in the world. And,
Can you define honest religion?
Yeah, well, I would say a religion where it is, someone realizes that they don't know everything. That, the Bible is a science book.
I agree.
And, I'm sure you're going to agree with a lot of things I say.
If that's all there is to honest religion, then I'm an honest religion here.
Yeah, we're all for it.
Well, that's not all that an honest religion is. I mean, you can have faith without certainty. And there's also the freedom to interpret for yourself and not have nature, God, or whatever word, is not offensive to you. Have that speak to you and, learn without, it all being about some dogma, somebody else's dogma, some antiquated fairy tale thing. There are a lot of anecdotal examples of exploitive religion.
Ed, can you hear me, Ed? Can you hear me, Ed?
What?
Hang on just a second. I don't need any anecdotal. Religion is selfish. It is selfish and arrogant in every form I've ever seen because it props the person up with this delusion that they are somehow special, that they can get in tune with something that they have no evidence or reason to believe even exists in the first place. To me, that is arrogant and selfish. I don't care if it's a natural religion where you're just trying to get in tune with some higher power. The idea that there is a higher power is something that needs to be justified, and the idea that it would communicate with you elevates you up to this level. There is something, and I'm not saying there are plenty of people who are religious, who are very good, generous people, who don't appear to be selfish and probably don't realize that they have any selfish motivation. We are all selfish. Religious or not religious, we are all selfish at the level. We are out to do what's best for us. And in the case where some people think that a religion is going to better them, make them better, improve their life, that's still selfish. So I think the generalization holds.
Well, okay, now you said that everyone is selfish. Can I talk for a second?
Yeah.
Without being interrupted? You want to have an
I can hang up on your ass just like that. Yeah. You can call that. I was trying to
The point is, yes, this is what I was talking about. Religion is the way in which believers project themselves.
I think I'll make Ed's points for him. I think I'll make Ed's points for him by saying that everybody is selfish. It's not necessarily religion that is selfish, it's people that are selfish, and that selfishness is demonstrated in some
people
way.
make the religion.
By religion. However, I believe that religion represents particular selfishness. Not everything that we do is selfish, and this is the distinction between what Ed's saying and what I'm saying. Not everything that we do is selfish, but the broader idea that is at the core of many religious pursuits, that is selfish. The fact that you can also manifest with generosity, altruism, things like that, and that is true. Yeah, so if you want to say that it's an unfair generalization, fine.
Welcome to the show, Ram.
I wanted to ask, what is your position on faith?
On faith?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose it depends on how you define it, but from my definition of faith, faith is the excuse people give when they believe something without a good reason. Because if you have a good reason, you would give the good reason. And so I don't see that faith is useful. I don't know that there's any position one couldn't justify by appealing to faith, and I have no use for it.
You have no use for it?
Yeah.
Okay, so you might have known about the placebo effect, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is exactly. So that is one reason, prayer can trigger a placebo effect.
He's saying, I guess, that faith can give people a placebo effect.
Okay.
Yeah. But it can also cause, there's also something called a nocebo effect, right? Where you tell somebody that something horrible is going to happen if they take this pill, and people have bad reactions that are inexplicable.
And if people are sick, I'd rather give them the real medicine instead of the placebo.
Yeah.
The fact that you can get a positive result from something doesn't mean that that something is positive. This actually came up in the debate that I did last weekend. I'll be posting it later this week. I know of people who would say that being diagnosed with terminal cancer was the best thing that ever happened
because it fundamentally changed their view of what was important in life. It helped repair broken relationships, and their quality of life leading up to their death was far better than it had been for many years before that. There's no denying that had a good result. But even with that good result, we would not say that cancer is a good thing, and we certainly wouldn't say disease is a good thing. The fact that you can imbue a placebo effect, and the placebo effect can have good results, doesn't mean that the placebo effect is a good thing or that it's a good idea to strive to push it.
They're saying that they have negative effects, like people killing each other.
Sure. Faith, I would argue, is more likely to have negative effects if it's the primary foundation for something.
If you don't understand the reasons why you're doing something.
But now majority people don't kill, right? Only a few factions kill, right? So my point is like not really defeated in that sense.
I don't know what your point is.
Point is that the statistics out there, they outweigh that there are good people, there are more good people than there are bad people.
No, the statistics would show that, to quote Steven Weinberg, without religion, without faith, you would have good people doing good things and bad people doing bad things, but it takes something like faith or religion to get good people to do bad things. That doesn't mean that there aren't people, the majority of people, who find a way to remain good even if they're being encouraged to do something evil by their religion.
I'm not arguing for religion. I'm arguing for God, and I'm arguing for something that's natural justice, that you can clearly see what's right and what's wrong. And a lot of people do bad things. People are not good at that.
Wait a minute,
I would agree that you couldn't summarize people that way. Go ahead.
I'm going to say that to say that people clearly see what is right and wrong is to deny huge arguments that people have about what is acceptable and unacceptable in a moral way. To just say that this is a clear thing that people just tend to agree with. I think there are some huge moral issues where people cannot agree and where there are giant arguments about what is right and what is wrong.
And there's huge disagreement when you get into sexuality.
Yes. Yeah, agreed. But I was arguing for the fact that, there's another good argument that why is there something rather than nothing?
Because there is.
Because there is. That's it.
Do you have a better answer that you can demonstrate is true?
Demonstrate.
Yeah, if you can't demonstrate it, I mean, if they can demonstrate it, I don't know of another answer. There are some questions. Well, science hasn't. So the fact that science hasn't disproven something doesn't tell you whether or not it's real. There are things that are fundamentally unfalsifiable, and nothing will ever be able to demonstrate that they're false. But that doesn't mean that they're true. Science hasn't disproven the 1,000 different gods that people have believed in.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I understand that. But why is there something? I mean,
I don't know.
Why you don't know?
Could there be nothing?
I
don't know either. I tend to have trouble trying to conceive of non-existence. We talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
And I assume that's what you mean when you say why is there something rather than nothing. Usually what a person is saying is why does something exist as opposed to non-existence or nothing existing, which the phrase nothing existing bothers me because I see that as like